like SiriusXM FC.
Would you believe this?
Whether it's live matches from the EPL, MLS, the NWSL, or the UEFA Champions League.
This is sensational!
Or live talk shows featuring the sport's most entertaining experts.
You don't get to say, I don't feel like making that play right now. You make the play.
It's the world of soccer at your fingertips.
How mouth-watering is that?
SiriusXM FC, channel 157 in the car, and streaming on the SiriusXM app.
More information, visit dewalt.ca.
CJCL Toronto. This
slams the ball to right field, way back, way gone!
Is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Low rounding and heading for second, the throw! In time!
On the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Game 2 at Rogers Center between the Blue Jays and the Detroit Tigers, the owners of the best record in Major League Baseball. Toronto came close to coming back yesterday, turning a 4-0 deficit into a 5-4 game in the ninth, but could not get the last push they needed. We'll see if they have that push today. Hi, everyone. Welcome to downtown Toronto. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Show Ali is our host today. Nick Blackmore is our producer. Tom Young and Christian Chiniti are our technical directors. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers in Burlington and Oakville. Crown is proud to be Canadian-owned and operated since 1986, so protect your vehicle from rust today at your local Crown Rust Control Center or visit crown.com. Crown, Canada's #1 rust protection. Pitching matchup today puts Reese Olson of the Tigers up against Eric Lauer of the Blue Jays. Lauer making his first start in a Blue Jay uniform after 3 relief appearances. Some of them bulk outings. Will actually get to be a true starter today. On the other side, Olson, maybe not the biggest name in the Tiger rotation, but he has been one of the more effective starters so far for Detroit. We'll see what he has today, but it'll be Eric Lauer first when we come back on the other side. Lineup standings, first pitcher next. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, streaming at sportsnet.ca on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Tonight on Sportsnet, Hockey Central sets up a huge Game 6.
All systems go. It's full throttle.
After Winnipeg stole the show at home.
The front scores! What a gutsy performance by the Winnipeg Jets.
It's back to Texas.
We'll see you Saturday night.
Can the Jets maintain their momentum and force Game 7?
Now they've got to go on and slay the Dragon in Dallas. This is playoff hockey.
The Stanley Cup Playoffs. Watch on Sportsnet or stream on Sportsnet Plus.
Knock all your summer projects out of the park with Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer of the Toronto Blue Jays and your DIY partner in making your dream home a reality. From gardens to garages, back decks to front doors, refreshes and renos, we're here to help you cover all your bases and make every summer project a home run. Visit any of our 1,000+ home hardware and building center locations where we're proud to be locally owned and genuinely Canadian.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
The Preakness is here, and VSiN is covering all the action with a live show today beginning at 6 p.m. Eastern. Hi, everyone. I'm Mike Somich. Join me and Aaron Halterman for a special live edition of VSiN at the Track. We'll give you the latest news, we'll handicap the race, speak with top analysts, and give you our best bets for the Preakness Stakes. Join us live for VSiN at the Track starting at 6 p.m. Eastern on VSiN, the sports betting network. We'll help you make smart bets and enjoy the Preakness Stakes on SiriusXM Channel 158 and the SiriusXM app.
You want baseball? The doggy has you covered. Tune in to Mad Dog Unleashed for the best baseball coverage anywhere. Weekdays 3 to 6 Eastern. SiriusXM Mad Dog Sports Radio, Channel 82.
Network.
Swing decisions definitely stick out for you since you've been back up here. The chase rate is way down from where it's been in the past. Is there anything that's allowing you to see the ball a bit better?
Just swinging at less balls.
Is there anything, it can't be that easy, Addison. Is there anything that goes into just like really zoning up and tightening what you swing at?
I think it just goes into our approach, like what kind of pop's cooking for us as far as like what we want to do and look for. The more you dial that in, the less balls you're going to swing at.
That was Addison Barger, Blue Jays third baseman with Sportsnet's Arden Zwelling earlier. Sometimes it is that simple. Addison Barger coming up with a lot of big hits for the Blue Jays recently. He'll try to do that again as the Blue Jays take on the Detroit Tigers, Game 2 of the series. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Barger has been part of the Blue Jays, Chris, improving their offensive production. Not that they're one of the best offensive teams in the league, but they've put themselves offensively in position to win a lot of games recently. Now, all of a sudden, we're turning around and looking at the other side as Toronto is desperate for some more quality starts out of their rotation.
Yeah, and if you look at Eric Lauer, I know a lot of people don't know the name Eric Lauer, but he's an established big leaguer. This is a guy with a 4.26 ERA in just over 600 career innings. He is a very good major league starter, and he showed that in his last outing. 4 2/3 scoreless innings against a very good Seattle lineup. Let's see if he can do more of the same today against Detroit.
We're going to get to the lineups in just a sec, but first the Bet365 standings. With Bet365, you can watch thousands of live games, build your own bet, and you can even make a bet while the game's still being played. 19 plus, play responsibly, Ontario only. It went on yesterday like it has for a lot of the season. In the AL East, the Yankees won yesterday. Everyone else lost. So the Yankees 26-18, the Red Sox 22-24, the Blue Jays 21-23. Both Boston and Toronto 5 games back in New York. Tampa Bay 6 games back, 20-24. The Orioles 10.5 back, and with a new manager at 15-28. For the Tigers, they have the Major League best 30-15 record. Yes, better even than the LA Dodgers, 4.5 up, leading the AL Central. As the Blue Jays stride out onto the field, let's take a look at the lineup, starting with A.J. Hinch's Major League best Detroit Tigers.
Leading off for those Tigers is Justin Henry Malloy. He's in right field. Batting second is Gleyber Torres. He's DHing this afternoon. In left field, batting third is Riley Green. In the cleanup spot at third base is Andy Ibanez. Batting fifth is Spencer Torkelson. He's at first base. At second base is Colt Keith. He's hitting sixth. Batting seventh is Javi Baez. He's in center field. Behind the dish is Tomas Nido. He's batting eighth. And batting ninth at shortstop is Zach McKinstry. On the mound is righty Reese Olson. For the Toronto Blue Jays, leading off is Bo Bichette. He's at shortstop. DHing, batting second is Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Batting third is Dalton Varsho. He's in center field. In the cleanup spot is George Springer. He'll be in right field. At third base, batting fifth is Addison Barger. Hitting sixth is Ernie Clement. He's at first base this afternoon. In left field, batting seventh is Nathan Lucas. Batting eighth is Tyler Heineman. He's behind the dish. And batting ninth at second base is Michael Stefanik. On the mound is lefty Eric Lauer.
Eric Lauer, 29 years old, from Ohio. 6'3" is the left-hander, 230 pounds. He's pitched a lot in the big leagues in his career, like Chris mentioned. This season, he's thrown 9 innings total across 3 appearances, allowing only 2 earned runs on 4 hits and 3 walks. He has struck out a batter an inning, 9 strikeouts. And the lefty getting his first start as a Blue Jay right now. Steps onto the top of the hill, faces right-handed hitter Justin Henry Malloy. Lauer facing toward first, winds and offers. Fastball called a strike to start the day. He gets ahead, 0-1. Time of the first pitch, 3:08 Eastern. It's 17 degrees outside in Toronto, but it's raining, so the roof closed today at Rogers Center. The 0-1. Just outside at 91 miles an hour, 1 ball, 1 strike. Blue Jays in their all-white uniforms today, jersey and pants with the camo Armed Forces Day hat. 1-1. Hit on the ground, up the middle. Bichette ranging towards second base, picks it up. Quick sling over to first, reeled in by Ernie Clement, and there's 1 out.
And there's that curveball from Eric Lauer. It's pretty slow, about 76 miles an hour. But the thing that I noticed is he locates it very well off the plate to right-handers. No different right there for a quick out.
It's the pitch he throws second most to his four-seam fastball, and if you ask a lot of people, it's the best pitch for Eric Lauer. The big curveball also has a cutter, a changeup, and a slider. Right-handed hitting Gleyber Torres up with one out. The pitch. Outside ball one. Mentioned the Blue Jays are in their home whites today. For the Tigers, it's another day in the road grays. The wind and the 1-0. Curveball caught the bottom of the zone just on the corner. Called strike, 1-1.
Well, Gleyber didn't like that call, immediately looking away, but that's that backdoor curveball that I mentioned earlier. It's very good, and he pretty much locates it there perfectly almost every single time.
His 1-1. Fastball hit high in the air, foul right side, out of play, 1-2. Balls and strikes today being handled by Ryan Blakeney, Steven Yashinsky of Burlington umpires first. At second base, crew chief Marvin Hudson. Trip Gibson is at third. Nobody on, and the 1-2. Hit in the air right side. This one tailing toward the foul line, and that's going to get down just fair and bounce into the side netting. Springer picks it up, rifles to second, but sliding in there with a double is Gleyber Torres. Didn't hit that one hard at all, but perfectly placed it down the line.
That curveball, or sorry, that slider actually blew up the bat of Gleyber Torres, and I did not think that was going to land fair, and I'm sure George Springer didn't think so either. He was chugging over there. He was playing in that gap in right center, but that is a big first hit for the Detroit Tigers.
And for Gleyber Torres, his 6th double of the year. The bearded infielder who's DHing today took a second to get up at second base. A bit of an awkward slide. It looked like he was rubbing his right thigh or maybe hamstring area, but he's all right. Leading off with Bichette playing near him at short, and the left-handed hitter, Riley Green, is up. A look at second. Lauer's pitch. Swing and a miss. Riley Green, the left fielder, number 3 hitter in the Tiger order, batting .278. Tied the team lead with his 11th homer yesterday. The 0-1. Called strike again. 97 on the black, 0-2. 91 on the black, I should say. Not 97. It'll be low to mid 90s at most for Eric Lauer.
I was about to say, really gassed up for that one.
We saw some 94 in his last outing. 2 looks at second, the 0-2. Swing and a miss, he got him. 92 elevated, and there are 2 down.
Yeah, that was a good sequence right there. You could tell that Riley Green was thinking something off speed off the plate. They just switched it up and blew that 92-mile-an-hour four-seamer right by him at the top of the zone.
So after the bloop double, a strikeout, and there are 2 outs. Andy Ibanez will hit for the first time in this series. Right-handed hitter is playing third base today. Lauer's pitch. Called a strike. Early on, he is going right after these Tigers hitters.
Yeah, he's been really good so far this season at just filling up that strike zone. That's part of the reason why he's been so successful so far.
Joined the Blue Jays in the offseason on a minor league deal. Lauer looks at second, the 0-1. Ugly swing and a miss there by Ibanez. Tied up completely on the curve, 0-2. It's almost a swing in slow motion there as Ibanez was caught in between whether he wanted to go or hold the bat up. No score, top of the first. Lauer with the 0-2. Hit away foul.
Again, I like that sequence. You mix in that slow breaking ball, and then you try to sneak one by him above the strike zone, but Eric Lauer didn't quite hit his spot there. You could see Tyler Heineman set up above the strike zone. That one didn't quite get there.
Another 2-strike pitch. Low ball 1. This first inning is brought to you by Armstrong Bird Food. Armstrong Bird Food, the reason birds fly north, feeding Blue Jays since 1986. Visit ArmstrongBirdFood.com. Torres on second base, taking his lead. Keeping him close is Stefanik, the second baseman. 2 outs, no score. The 1-2. Swing and a miss. He got him way out in front on the curveball. Back-to-back strikeouts for Eric Lauer in a scoreless top of the first. No runs on a hit, 1 left. Bo Bichette to lead it off against Reese Olson when we return. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Buck Martinez here to tell you about the huge Double XL 3-topping pizza from Pizza Pizza, just $19.99. That's a whopping 18-inch 3-topping thing of beauty for only $19.99. So hurry into Pizza Pizza today and bring a big appetite for a hot and fresh Double XL pizza. I'm loving this big voice. I may just call the game this way.
Order pizzapizza.ca.
Bet 365 must be 19 or older, Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connectsontario.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
It's Ernie Clement with the RBI single. 1-0 Toronto.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back to Rogers Center in downtown Toronto. Bottom of the first inning, no score. Blue Jays and Tigers. Reese Olson offers to Bo Bichette and hits the zone with a heater. Strike one. Welcome to the Timbermart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside former Major League pitcher Chris LaRue. Show Ali, our host. Nick Blackmore, our producer. A 1. Low 1 ball, 1 strike. Tom Young and Christian Chiniti, our technical directors. For Reese Olson, the 6'1" right-hander, this is his 9th start of the year. 4-3 with a 3.38 ERA. His 1-1. Swing and a miss. Massive hack from Bichette. He was out in front there on a hanging slider, 1-2.
Yeah, Reese Olson's been pretty good this season. I think the difference maker for him, not only does he have a pretty good sinker in the mid-90s, but that changeup is very, very effective.
The 1-2. Hit on the ground right side. Past the dive of the second baseman, Keith, into right field. Big swing on 1 strike, but he shortened it up with 2 strikes, and Bo Bichette's got a leadoff hit.
Well, we've seen that for the majority of this season. He's very good at shortening up with 2 strikes, going the other way, and he just finds that big hole on the right side. He continues to swing a hot bat.
So Bichette on first, pushing up against a 300 average after that hit. And here's the 293 hitter, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. 8 doubles, 5 home runs, 20 RBIs for Guerrero. Olson from the stretch. Outside. You mentioned a bit of the pitch mix. It's sinker change, slider, four-seamer, curveball for Reese Olson, who somewhat overhauled his mix. He was much more of a four-seam slider guy the last 2 years. Now more sinker change. 1-0 pitch is just outside again. It was close, 2-0. Bichette leading off first, 2-0 pitch. Swing and a high fly ball, right field. Malloy going back now comes in, makes the catch, 1 out.
The interesting thing about Olson overhauling his mix, like you said, is he was good the last couple of years. It's not like he struggled through 23 and 24. He was pretty solid.
22 starts last year around an IL stint. 3.5 ERA in his age 24 season. The year before that, an ERA just below 4 and about 100 innings. It has been fairly smooth sailing in the majors for Reese Olson. Only 25 years old, native of Gainesville, Georgia, offers to Dalton Varsho and misses outside. Olson, an interesting guy. When you look at this Tigers rotation, especially on the whole, you know, of course, Tarek Skubal is right at the top of that. He might be the best pitcher in baseball. 1-0. Called strike. Then you have Jack Flaherty. I mean, he's a very well-known commodity. He's been in the big leagues a long time. Won a World Series last year, so he's a big star. You got Casey Mize, former #1 overall pick. That's going to be a big name. Jackson Jobe, 3rd overall pick and a huge prospect. 1-1. Popped up Middle of the infield. Shortstop McKinstry moving toward the second base bag, makes the catch just off to the first base side of it. 2 down.
And like we talked about yesterday, a lot of top picks on this roster.
So with all these guys, all these picks and all these names, then you have Olsen, relatively unknown compared to the others at least. 13th rounder by the Brewers in 2018. Took some time to get to the big leagues. He's the quiet but very effective part of their 5-man group. 2 outs, runner on first, pitch to George Springer. Low ball 1. And if you look at the guys who are healthy right now, Mize just went on the injured list. He's got the second best ERA of any of their starters to Tarek Skubal. 1-0. Swing and a miss. Got Springer to chase in the dirt. That's the good changeup. 1 ball, 1 strike.
So you think Tarek Skubal is better than Hunter Brown?
I think it's pretty close. I think that's to be determined. Last year he was, no doubt.
That's true.
Won a pitching triple crown in a Cy Young. So yeah, you know what? I will say that. I think Tarek Skubal is better than Hunter Brown right now. But that'll be a fun duel probably for the next 10 years. Olsen's 1-1. Inside to Springer. 2 balls, 1 strike. No score, bottom of the first inning. Bo Bichette talking with Casey Candell, the interim first base coach for the Blue Jays. Bichette had a leadoff single, hasn't moved from the bag since. With 2 down, the 2-1 to Springer. In the dirt, checks his swing. 3 balls, 1 strike.
And there's that changeup. Even though Olsen didn't throw it for a strike, I'm sure he was trying to in a 2-1 count, but you can see there it has a ton of downward movement, and he's not afraid to throw it to righties either.
Olsen leans in, looks over his left shoulder at first, and now sets at his chest. The 3-1. Hit foul off the hands. 96 on the inner edge. It's 3-2. Infield playing George Springer to pull. Everyone shifted toward third. Outfield is straight up, maybe even shifted a little bit the opposite way toward right. 3-2 pitch. Bichette takes off and it's called. Strike 3. 96, middle bottom of the zone. Freezes Springer to end the inning. The Blue Jays with no runs on a hit, 1 left in the bottom of the first. No score after 1 between Detroit and Toronto. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The PGA Championship is on Sirius XM. Follow all the action on Channel 92.
Yes! Are you kidding me? What a shot.
Well, just begging for it to get up a little, and it does. What a shot, Billy.
Pay attention. Oh, yes!
Coverage from Quail Hollow Club is happening right now.
Sometimes it feels like it's meant to be. What a finish.
Wow. The PGA Championship on Channel 92 in the car and on the Sirius XM app.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win your fantasy leagues right now on Channel 87.
Say goodbye, home run Aaron Judge.
From in-season fantasy baseball management to helping you prepare for your fantasy football drafts, Fantasy Sports Radio is here to help you dominate.
Don't ever take a player that you don't intend to keep all year. Don't do it. It's terrible management.
Fantasy Sports Radio, your home for fantasy sports. Channel 87 and on the Sirius XM app.
This is Dave LaGreca, creator of the biggest pro wrestling show on the planet, Busted Open. Don't miss myself and my Hall of Fame cast and crew as we break down every story in and out of the ring and talk to the top names in the business, like the legend himself, The Undertaker.
I'm actually glad to be on a real show.
Catch Busted Open live every day from 9 to noon Eastern on Sirius XM Fight Nation, channel 156, and on the Sirius XM app.
From in-season fantasy baseball management to helping you prepare for your fantasy football drafts, Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you dominate. Channel 87 and on the Sirius XM app. Radio Network.
0-0 ball game as we get going in the top of the second inning. Blue Jays and Tigers at Rogers Center. Eric Lauer winds and offers to Spencer Torkelson and gets ahead of him with a first pitch curve for strike 1. Well-built, right-handed hitting first baseman Spencer Torkelson asks for time. He'll lead off the inning. Colt Keith and Javier Baez to hit as well. Torkelson hitting .236, but has 11 doubles and 11 home runs, plus 34 RBIs, and he smokes the 0-1 out to left center field and deep. It's gone. A big fly for Spencer Torkelson way out to left center field. It's 1-0 Tigers in the second.
Well, that was just a hanging changeup, an 0-1 changeup from Eric Lauer. You can bet that he wanted that thing down. He left it over the middle of the plate, and Spencer Torkelson hits his 12th home run of the season. So much pop out of that bat. Former first overall pick.
2020's first overall pick. It has been up and down for him, but he is looking great this year in the big leagues for sure. It's been a big boost to Detroit. Nobody out. Pitch to Colt Keith. Called a strike. Left-handed hitting. Colt Keith sports a black bat. Looks a little bit lighter near the handle because of all the pine tar coated there. 0-1. Check swing. Pitch outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Keith, the second baseman today. He DH'd yesterday. Second base, a more natural position for him, but he can play first as well. 1-1. Swing and a high drive. Right center field. Headed down in the gap. It bounces up against the wall. Springer fields it off the fence, but Keith already at second as the throw goes into Stefanik. After the home run, a double, and the Tigers are in business with a runner on second. Nobody out.
Well, that's just another missed spot from Eric Lauer. You can see Tyler Heineman set up away, almost on the black for that four-seam fastball, and it leaked on the inner third, and Colt Keith just hammered that thing into the gap in right field.
It was a fairly smooth first for Eric Lauer. There was a double on the box score, but it was a bloop double, to say the least, from Gleyber Torres. This inning, though, in 5 pitches, Lauer's allowed a home run and a double. 1-0 Detroit. Pitch to Javier Baez. Called a strike. Baez hit the decisive home run yesterday. At the time, it put the Tigers up 5-3, his 8th inning solo shot. But Detroit would go on to win 5-4. 0-1 pitch. Popped up foul. Back behind home plate. 0-2.
I want to know why Javi Baez is still, well, he's not today. He's in the 7th spot, ironically, but he was consistently hitting in that 8 and 9th hole, even though he was hitting above 300. You were going to talk about it yesterday.
I was supposed to tell you about that. I left you hanging. That's my bad.
24 hours I've been waiting for this answer.
Well, first we're going to get a set from Lauer. Runner on second. A look back there from the lefty. He kicks and delivers. High and outside, ball 1. So I don't have the exact reason, but this question was asked of A.J. Hinch a couple days ago. A reporter said to him, hey, why doesn't Javi move up to near the top of the order? And all Hinch said in response was, would you touch Javier Baez with what he's doing right now? And that's where the line of questioning ended. 1-2. Swing and a high fly ball. Center field. Got a little under it. Varsho about 15 feet in front of the track. Runs into it to make the catch. Keith tagging. Varsho's throw to third base. Bounces in after the slide in there by Colt Keith. So it's the first out of the inning, but Baez advances the runner to third.
Javi Baez just missed that pitch. He absolutely crushed that thing straight up in the air. Was all over that four-seam fastball, but Eric Lauer got it up just enough. A little bit more middle. You could see that reaction from Javi Baez, like he should have done more with that pitch.
Dumped away his bat in frustration. So infield in now. Runner on third, 1 out. 1-0 is the lead right now for the Tigers in the top of the second. And Tomas Nido is hitting. Backup catcher for Detroit since Jake Rogers went on the injured list in the second week of April. Left on right, the pitch. Swing and a pop-up. Michael Stefanik ranging back to shallow right field. George Springer's going to come in and make the catch. Not nearly deep enough for Keith to tag and score. He remains at third. Massive pitch by Lauer, 2 down.
And that's for me, as a former pitcher, best case scenario isn't a strikeout. It's a pop-up, a shallow pop-up or an infield pop-up. You keep that guy at third base. There's no chance of it getting through the drawn-in infield. And there's no chance of a wild pitch or a pass ball or anything like that.
It's a good thing George Springer was alert, too, because with the infield in, that ball could have easily dropped in if he wasn't charging toward the infield. Probably caught it about 15, 20 feet from where the dirt starts. 2 outs, number 9 hitter Zach McKinstry up the pitch. Called a strike. This second inning presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app for today's baseball odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus, play responsibly, Ontario only. The 0-1. Hit off the end of the bat, a fly ball out to left. Running into it, Nathan Lucas makes the catch and ends the inning. A home run to lead off the inning, then a double, but Lauer settles down from there. 1-0 for the Tigers, middle of the second. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Are you ready for some football? On Wednesday, May 21st, gear up for football season with the George Springer replica football jersey giveaway presented by TD. Rush to the ballpark because this giveaway is available to the first 15,000 fans at Rogers Center. It's Wednesday night. Lights up. Let's go. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate online at carsforkids.ca. That's cars with a K. Pickup is quick and easy. You'll benefit a child and get a maximum tax credit.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today, and your car can be gone tomorrow.
Knock all your summer projects out of the park with Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer of the Toronto Blue Jays and your DIY partner in making your dream home a reality. From gardens to garages, back decks to front doors, refreshes and renos, we're here to help you cover all your bases and make every summer project a home run. Visit any of our 1,000+ home hardware and building center locations where we're proud to be locally owned and genuinely Canadian.
Join us for Cricket Day at the Park, presented by TD, Saturday, May 31st. Arrive early to receive your Blue Jays Cricket warm-up jacket giveaway, presented by TD, created in collaboration with Cricket Canada. Don't miss out on being a part of the Cricket Day spectacle at Rogers Center. Find your seats at BlueJays.com.
For this life I cannot change. Hit it hills, deep off in the main.
This is George Springer, and you're listening to Toronto Blue Jays Baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Addison Barger leading off for the Blue Jays. Bottom of the second, and the pitch from Reese Olson lands in for strike one. 1-0 Detroit. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Barger hitting 5th today for the Blue Jays. Clement and Lucas behind him. 0-1. Check swing, pitch low. Appeal down to third. Trip Gibson says no swing. 1 ball, 1 strike. Another really nice day yesterday for Addison Barger. Went 2 for 3, a double, a single, and a walk. Also scored a run. The 1-1. Called strike, takes a heater low in the zone. 1-2.
What was Addison Barger's reason for heating up when he was talking to Arden?
Well, Arden had asked him how he was making better decisions, and he said not swinging at balls.
Ah, there you go. Just
he's not
keep
wrong.
It simple, right? Keep it simple.
The 1-2. Down and away, 2-2. Although it'd kind of be like if I said, Chris, how many people are at the ballpark today? And you said at least 300.
I'm not wrong.
You're not wrong.
I am not wrong. I usually am, but not in that case.
2-2. Hit back foul. It'll land just under the feet of the radio booth beside us as the Tigers broadcast is going on to our left. But Barger is really making better decisions for whatever reason. You look yesterday, while the 2 hits were impressive, the walk he took against Flaherty was a 10-pitch battle with some tight takes. 2-2. In the dirt, bends the knee but doesn't swing. 3 balls, 2 strikes. That was the first and only 10-pitch at-bat so far, 10-pitch plate appearance in Addison Barger's major league career.
And I don't know what he's doing differently. Obviously, it seems like he doesn't know what he's doing.
Or he's not telling
either.
us, at least.
Yeah, but he does look more confident, more comfortable in that batter's box.
Swing and a foul tip into the glove. Strike 3, 96 elevated, beats Barger, 1 down.
Reese Olson has a sneaky fastball, 96 miles an hour at the top of the strike zone. Just blowing it right by Addison Barger. He did get a little piece of it, though. Nito doing a good job catching that baseball.
So back-to-back strikeouts going back to the first inning for Olsen, and now his pitch to Ernie Clement. Hit foul, 0-1. And Ernie Clement hit that off his own foot. He is in some pain, lost his helmet. He is limping around right now, and he's going to go down on one knee. This is really concerning for the Blue Jays. Clement rolls over to sit down, slamming his helmet frustratingly into the turf. Ernie Clement is one of those never take me out, play through bumps and bruises, a hockey player as a kid kind of guys. He fouled that off of his knee, we see on the replay, off the front of his left knee. And if he's going to go down and want the training staff to come out, you know that one hurts a lot.
Well, watching the replay, luckily it didn't square him up on that knee, and it kind of grazed past that kneecap. I'm not saying it doesn't hurt, but probably would have been worse if it squared him up on that kneecap.
He's getting up to his feet now to try and walk around. In fairness, while the training staff came out, he barely let Jose Ministral, the head athletic trainer, touch him. Stood up, got his helmet back on and his bat in his hand, but now he's in a crouch right beside John Schneider and Jose Ministral, and he is clearly still not walking comfortably. Reese Olson getting in some pitches to stay fresh and nearly using the bat as a cane as he gets back to the batter's box.
All right, Ben, here's my question to you. What pitch do you throw now that you saw Ernie Clement hit a fastball off of his kneecap?
You throw the sinker inside and low.
Fastball inside, sinker inside. He does not want that ball inside right now.
Clement staying in the game. Here's the 0-1. Hit on the ground, foul, 0-2. A sinker in off the plate. And still, Ernie walking across the plate there did not look 100%. This is going to be something where we'll have to keep an eye when the Blue Jays go out defensively. The 0-2. Hooked on the ground to third base. Clement gingerly running to first as Ibanez makes the throw over, 2 down.
Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on him. He doesn't look comfortable right now running back to that dugout. Still limping just a little bit. Like you said, we'll have to keep an eye on it and see if he stays in this ball game.
So 2 down, Nathan Lucas up to the plate. 1-0 Tigers over the Blue Jays. Bases are empty. Infield shifts to pull, except Ibanez, the third baseman, playing in. The pitch, swing and a miss. Speaking of health situations, Nathan Lucas had to exit yesterday's game early with a migraine. He's feeling better today, but was experiencing not just pain, but blurred vision, nausea. 0-1. Bounced 1 ball, 1 strike.
It's good to see him back in the lineup. I personally have never had a migraine, but I've heard a lot of people have that I've spoken to even today, and it's not a fun experience.
Lucas has had these before, not during a game, but he has had them before. 1-1. Swinging a fly ball out to left, backing up green and toward the corner, just in front of the track. He makes a 2-handed catch, and that will do it for the inning. The Blue Jays go down in order, 1-0 Tigers after 2. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Insulation that does more than keep you warm? That's Rock Wool Stone Wool. Fire resistant, soundproof, moisture repellent, built to handle what other insulations can't. Whether it's for a reno, a new build, or the peace and quiet you've been dreaming of, Rock Wool Insulation delivers serious performance where it counts. Insulation with a reputation. Get it where the smart builders shop at Timber Mart, Canada's building center.
Buck Martinez here to tell you about the huge Double XL free topping pizza from Pizza Pizza, just $19.99. That's a whopping 18-inch 3-topping thing of beauty for only $19.99. So hurry into Pizza Pizza today and bring a big appetite for a hot and fresh Double XL pizza. I'm loving this big voice. I may just call the game this way.
Go to pizzapizza.ca.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365. Must be 19 or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connectsontario.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Fastball hit to center field. Varsho with a dive, and he makes the catch.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Third inning at Rogers Center, 1-0 Tigers in Game 2 of the Rivalry Weekend Series. Alongside Chris LaRue, I'm Ben Schulman. Ernie Clement is back out at first base, and the pitch from Eric Lauer to Justin Henry Malloy hits the zone. Strike one. Clement fouled a ball off of his left knee last inning. Still doesn't look super comfortable, but is playing first. 0-1. High, 1 ball, 1 strike.
This rivalry weekend thing seems to be working. Driving in today on the Gardner, I saw a lot of Michigan license plates.
In a lot of road travel for both these fan bases when they play. 1-1. Outside, 2 balls, 1 strike.
And you had mentioned that MLB was thinking more geographically than
for this
actual rivals.
Yeah, this is one of the 4, quote, regional rivalry matchups. 2-1. Fouled back 2-2 as it slams off the backstop. Then again, Blue Jays, Tigers, for a certain generation, a big rivalry, but both managers acknowledged before the game yesterday it's not much of a thing on their minds at this point. A.J. Hinch said this is probably not the matchup fans circled for rivalry weekend. 2-2. Foul tip, strike 3. Third strikeout so far for Eric Lauer and 1 out in the top of the third.
I would say, though, out of all the rivalry weekend games, I would say the Subway Series is probably the most important.
Yeah, if the issue with some of the other in-city rivalries, if the White Sox were at all competitive with the Cubs, that would be fun, but they aren't. Angels, to their credit, did beat the Dodgers yesterday, but again, they're on very different levels right now. First pitch from Lauer to Gleyber Torres, misses high and outside, ball 1. 1-0 Tigers, 1 out, bases empty, top of the third. We were going over it, though, the day before rivalry weekend began, who the Blue Jays could play. 1-0. Called a strike, 1-1. I know we had mentioned, they used to play the Phillies a lot in interleague. John Schneider was asked yesterday who the rivals are right now for the Blue Jays in his mind. Lauer winds, the 1-1. Called strike, 1-2. Have any guesses?
Personally, I really like the Blue Jays Mariners little
so
thing.
So that is one of the teams he mentioned. Yeah. The Mariners. He said not just because of the playoffs, but the series there. 1-2. Swing and a miss. He got him. Back-to-back strikeouts for Lauer. 2 down. Beat him with a fastball elevated that time. But yeah, Mariners, he mentioned, a lot of tight games. They did have the playoff series. The series over there is always interesting.
Geographically kind of strange.
A little bit. Although Blue Jays fans in Vancouver would disagree.
That's true, I guess.
Or anywhere along British Columbia. 2 down, pitch to Riley Green. Fouled back 0-1. He said one more team. You want to have a guess?
It's not the Tigers.
It's not the Tigers.
I would say the Yankees.
It's not the Yankees. I think he was thinking, Yankees, Mets, Yankees, Red Sox.
That's true.
It was the Baltimore Orioles. He said it was the other team. A lot of close games again, he said, with those. He said when he wakes up on those game days, it feels a bit different. 0-1 hit back foul, 0-2. This third inning brought to you by the local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers in Burlington and Oakville. Crown is proud to be Canadian-owned and operated since 1986, so protect your vehicle from rust today at your local Crown Rust Control Center. Visit crown.com. Crown, Canada's #1 rust protection. Lauer looking to strike out the side. His 0-2 to Green. Down and in. Threw the changeup that time, ball 1.
That's that rare left-on-left changeup. You don't really see that pitch very often. I don't mind it, though. Lauer's got a pretty good changeup.
His 1-2. Called strike 3. Eric Lauer punches out the side, setting down the Tigers in order and setting up the Blue Jays with a chance to get back in this game. Down 1-0 are the Blue Jays to the Tigers, middle of the third. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The drama builds. Baseball's in full swing.
This ball's gone!
Hear every MLB game on SiriusXM.
And they'll be talking about this one for a long, long time.
Listen to your favorite team all season long with your hometown announcers on the SiriusXM app.
A breathtaking home run by Aaron Judge.
For a complete MLB schedule, go to SiriusXM.com/sports.
What a night.
Every night after the final out, the Round Trip Roundup brings you the scores, highlights, and analysis from every game across Major League Baseball, all in less than 30 minutes.
Swung on and missed, strike 3 and a no-hitter.
It's the perfect way to get caught up on all the night's biggest home runs and best performances.
And a high drive, deep right center.
It's the Round Trip Roundup on MLB Network Radio every night on SiriusXM Channel 89 and every morning on the SiriusXM app.
The NASCAR Cup Series is on SiriusXM. We're back on the track Sunday,
5 p.m. Eastern.
It's the NASCAR All-Star Race from North Wilkesboro Speedway on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio Channel 90 and on the SiriusXM app. For up-to-date betting lines, fantasy plays, and the latest NASCAR news, catch the pre-race show before every Cup Series race. Plus, 2 hours of post-race coverage on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio Channel 90.
In season or out of season, the number one place for college sports is SiriusXM College Sports Radio, Channel 84.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
Bottom of the third inning in downtown Toronto. Thanks for tuning in today. Blue Jays trailing 1-0 to the Tigers as the pitch goes to Tyler Heineman. It's 95 on the outer third. Strike one. 8-9-1 for the Blue Jays this inning against Reese Olson, Heineman, Stefanik, and Bichette. The 0-1. In the dirt, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Ben, who do you think is a bigger surprise this year, Tomas Nido or Tyler Heineman?
So Nido enters hitting in the mid-300s and 32 at-bats. I'm going to say Heineman being almost a 400 hitter through 43 at-bats.
All right.
More surprising. 1-1. Check swing. No, he went around on a pitch just low. 1-2. I mean, it is only 43 at-bats, but it is remarkable at the same time. 17 for 43, a .395 average, 4 doubles, a homer, and 6 RBIs. The 1-2 in the dirt, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
That is a wicked changeup.
It really is.
Moving all over the place.
Coming into today, 19 of Olson's strikeouts, the most of any of his pitches, had come on the changeup. That's 19 of 47 total. And he was getting a 50% whiff rate on it. 2-2 is popped up foul, headed towards us. A high pop-up that drops into the seats. Still 2-2. But 50% whiff rate. So when guys are swinging at Olson's changeup, it's a coin flip if they're even going to make contact with the ball, let alone hit it well. 2-2. Again, popped up foul back behind the plate. A looper just into the second row of seats. Caught by a fan with a light-colored glove. Still 2-2.
Tyler Heineman just missed that pitch. It was a slider that was kind of spinning over the middle. You could see his face after he swung that bat. Like, should have done some damage with that pitch.
Another 2-2. And another foul off. That time a really good pitch. 96 elevated, and I think that's why Heineman came away nodding his head. He liked the fact that he could fight that away.
And if I'm Reese Olson, what am I throwing? A changeup?
Seems likely.
Get this guy out of here. That's what I'm thinking.
Olson winds and offers. Threw the changeup, but Heineman took it. Or pardon me, that was actually a breaking ball at the back foot. 3 balls, 2 strikes. 1 walk so far this year for Tyler Heineman. Payoff pitch. Foul back again. Making him work early on in this inning. A 9-pitch battle so far between Olson and Heineman.
Reese Olson's now at 38 pitches on the ball game. Pretty good, but at least Tyler Heineman's making him work, fouling off some tough pitches.
Looks better when it was 29 to start the inning. Another payoff and another foul off. 96 elevated again. Starting to wonder if Nito's going to go out there as they try and figure out what they're going to do here against the Blue Jay catcher. Olson's 3-2. Fouled off again. That one dropping into the 400 level boxes. Tyler Heineman will not quit in this at-bat.
Olson just feeding him fastballs right now at the top of the strike zone. I don't know if he's trying to hit that spot, but he's doing a good job hitting that spot.
Another 3-2. outside, ball 4, a 12-pitch walk for Tyler Heineman. That's how you start an inning.
Yeah, that's a big, big at-bat. You can see him clapping on his way down to first base. What an AB for him.
Welcome to the Timbermart broadcast booth. Home plate is home plans. Score the run with Timbermart.ca. Find a major league selection of winning plays for house, garage, and backyard sheds. Visit Timbermart.ca and win the game with Canada's Building Center. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Heineman on first. Michael Stefanik is up. Right-handed hitting second baseman. The pitch. Inside. Ball 1. Stefanik had his first start as a Blue Jay yesterday, second game overall, and he had a nice day, went 2 for 4. Had 1 single to left, 1 single to right. 1-0. Inside again, 2-0. And Nito's going to come out and talk to his pitcher.
Well, like you mentioned, he probably should have done that during the last at-bat to Tyler Heineman, making him work. And now he's kind of lost the zone a little bit, lost that command. Let's see if Stefanik can take advantage of it. There's a big hole on the right side of this infield. And like we saw yesterday, Stefanik is very good with the bat.
He has an incredible ability to make contact, Michael Stefanik. He rarely swings and misses. I'm sure he will now because I just said that. But he's about a 90% contact guy. The 2-0. High, ball 3. Fastball missed by a couple balls upstairs.
And I would imagine that Stefanik does not have the green light here, 3-0.
He looked down to Carlos Fablis, who gave him a sign. Casey Candell coaching first. Fablis at third. 3-0. Taken all the way. He takes a heater for strike 1.
And the reason I say that is because Bo Bichette is standing on deck. Don't want to potentially hit into a double play with the top of the order coming up next.
A look at first by Olsen. Heineman being held on by Torkelson. 3-1. Popped up off the handle near third. Swimming in the air. Andy Ibanez stretches his arms up and makes the catch. 1 out. Time is running out to win some incredible prizes through Jays Care's 50-50 jackpot. Get your bonus raffle tickets now for a chance to win trips to Mexico, Muskoka, and more. Then on Thursday, you could walk away with the grand prize of over $375,000. Drop what you're doing and head to BlueJays.com/5050. The pitch to Bo Bichette. Swing and a miss. He unloads on a breaking ball low. 0-1. Bichette with the lone base hit for the Blue Jays. Had a single to start the day. 0-1. Inside, just missed down and in. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Nice take again with a very good fastball from Reese Olsen. Just exploding out of his hand. 96 down and in. A good take.
The 1-1. Swing and a miss. Another huge hack from Bichette. That time on a slider. 1-2. Well, it doesn't always look pretty when you have a big swing and a miss. Bichette has been doing a lot of this month, and that's why he's slugged so much. Slugging percentage over .600 on the month with 6 doubles and 4 homers in May alone. 1-2. Hit on the ground to second base. Torres, backhanded flip to short for 1, and over to first McKinstry to end the inning. 4-6-3 double play, erases the leadoff walk. No runs, no hits, no one left for the Blue Jays. 1-0 Tigers as we go to the 4th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Sports are all about moments.
One of the most incredible, miraculous finishes.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. I'm talking to you. Thanks for hanging out with us today during the Blue Jays game here on Toronto Sports Insider. We really appreciate you hanging out with us as we've grown this amazing community of Toronto sports fans from all over the world, making a difference for SickKids Hospital every single day. Today, We're live 3 times tomorrow, 2. The day before that was 6. You never know. Sports all the time here on Toronto Sports Insider. So thank you for hitting that subscribe button if you're new. We appreciate you chatting it up, keeping it classy, hitting that like button, sharing this link out, bringing more baseball fans here to the chat to cheer on our beloved Toronto Blue Jays. Now, should we get that chant started? Go Jays, go! Go Jays, go! Go Jays, go! We'll see you back in the chat. Welcome to our community. Thank you for hitting that subscribe button. Now let's have some fun.
Way if you want to be winners.
Our experts are getting you ready for the 2025 season.
For the veteran players, they want to see the guy earn the job.
There's a story for every team on NFL Radio Channel 88 and the SiriusXM app.
The Blue Jays are in flight, leading 3-0.
Blue Jays fans, this is Ross Atkins, and you're listening to Blue Jays Baseball on SiriusXM.
Radio Network.
Welcome back to Rogers Center. Blue Jays baseball continues with the 4th inning coming up. Tigers leading the Blue Jays 1-0. It's a pitching change for Toronto, brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays, locally owned, genuinely Canadian. After a 3-inning start for Eric Lauer, the Blue Jays go to a right-hander. Yariel Rodriguez is on the hill for Toronto. Rodriguez pitching on consecutive days, has a 3.86 ERA in 18 games this year. He came in yesterday and pitched a scoreless 9th, around a single and a 2-out walk. His pitch to Andy Ibanez. High ball 1.
Rodriguez threw 17 pitches in yesterday's ball game, 9 strikes. So I'd imagine, I don't know, 25, 30 pitches is his max probably.
Righty's 1-0. Popped up. Foul territory behind home plate. Heineman has taken off the mask but still has it in his hand as he watches that fall into the 6th or 7th row seats. 1-1. Welcome to the Timbermart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Show Ali, our host, Nick Blackmore, our producer, Tom Young and Christian Chiniti, our technical directors. Rodriguez sets. And is 1-1. Up and in, 2 balls, 1 strike. John Schneider had said pregame that Eric Lauer was full go today, although this move does feel a little bit pre-planned. It's perhaps not wanting to give away secrets to the Tigers. 2-1. Lifted to the right side, just beyond the infield dirt. Springer coming in, waves off Stefanik and makes the catch on the shallow fly. 1 out.
I did notice that Yariel was warming up pretty early in this ball game. He wasn't overdoing it in the 2nd inning, but you could tell he was moving around. Like you said, probably told before the ball game that he was going to be in the 4th inning.
One out, Spencer Torkelson up to the plate. He's the difference in the game. Hit a changeup from Lauer out of the yard in the 2nd. The pitch. Outside ball 1. We're now in the 4th, which is brought to you by Bet365. At Bet365, you can bet on popular markets like hits, home runs, and total bases. Download the app and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. Tyler Heineman is going to go out to the mound and talk to his pitcher. Are they going to assess a pitch clock violation? No, they will count that as a mound visit. Rodriguez was having pitch comm issues, now it seems like he's saying. But that was a little confusing. Yariel stepped off with no one on base, which you can't do. The clock continues to run. You got to step back on and throw a pitch, or you got to burn a mound visit. Tyler Heineman went out there to talk to his hurler, and it looks like the Blue Jays have avoided taking an automatic ball. Torkelson digging back in. Fastens that right foot into the back chalk of the righty box. Looks out to Rodriguez. 1 out, base is empty. 1-0 Tigers, and the 1-0 inside.
That was actually an important non-ball because it was already a 1-0 count. You want to go 2-0 to Spencer Torkelson. Obviously, Yariel just did. It's 2-0 now.
You definitely don't want to go to 3-0. 2-0 offering. Hit on a line, caught just above the dirt by Addison Barger, who kind of folded down to his right toward the foul line to make the backhanded catch. 2 outs.
Pretty nice play over there at the hot corner. I don't think Spencer Torkelson got all of this ball. Might have hit it off the end of the bat, but still a really nice play by Addison Barger. Another nice play over there.
It was kind of tricky. Had a lot of top spin, and I imagine if you're Barger, hard to judge whether that was going to hit the dirt or not, and hard to know how to play it. Pitch now to Colt Keith, left-handed hitter. Hit on the ground to first. Ernie Clement's first play, and he makes it as he picks it up, gets to the bag, and ends the top of the 4th inning. 1-2-3 for Yariel Rodriguez. We go to the bottom of the 4th inning. Tigers 1, Blue Jays nothing. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Buck Martinez here to tell you about the huge Double XL 3-topping pizza from Pizza Pizza, just $19.99. That's a whopping 18-inch 3-topping thing of beauty for only $19.99. So hurry into Pizza Pizza today and bring a big appetite for a hot and fresh Double XL pizza. I'm loving this big voice. I may just call the game this way.
Order pizzapizza.ca.
Breaking news coming 6-5. Must be 19 or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connectsontario.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
They got him. A strike him out, throw him out, double play.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Vladimir Guerrero Jr. leading off for the Blue Jays, who trail 1-0, bottom of the 4th. First pitch in the dirt, ball 1. Alongside former Major League pitcher Chris LaRue, I'm Ben Schulman. Spencer Torkelson's second inning solo shot is the difference in the game. Guerrero batting now for the second time. The 1-0. Called a strike. It popped out of the glove of Nito. Vladdy picks it up, hands it back to the catcher, 1-1. Reese Olson threw 50 pitches through the first 3 innings. The Tigers starter faced 1 above the minimum. 1-1. Hit on a line, bounces off the hill, and right to the second baseman, Keith, who snares it and throws to first for the out.
The Out-of-Town Scoreboard is brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill, 100% Canadian owned and operated since 1992. Every Tuesday night, wings are just half price. Visit stlouiswings.com for details. You are welcome.
Rivalry weekend in Major League Baseball and the Subway Series underway in the Bronx. The Yankees had the edge yesterday, but right now it's 3-2 for the Mets going to the bottom of the 9th. First pitch to Dalton Varsho, ripped on the ground right at Colt Keith at second again. He picks it up, slings to first. 2 outs. 3-2 is the score after Francisco Lindor hit a go-ahead sac fly in the top of the 9th inning. Edwin Diaz about to come in, looking to close out what would be a big win for the Mets. Other game with runs on the board right now. The Cubs are beating the White Sox 6-3 at Wrigley Field. 2 down, the pitch to George Springer. Bounce to the plate, ball 1. Former Blue Jay Matt Boyd getting the start for the Cubs in that one. Briefly former Blue Jay. Then a couple other games just getting underway. Tampa Bay, Miami, and Washington, Baltimore. Next pitch to Springer, called a strike, 1-1. All of our out-of-town scores brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. 1-0 Tigers. Reese Olson brings his hands together, winds and offers. Check swing by Springer, pitch in the dirt, appeal down to first, and a quick strike call by Stephen Yashinsky, the Burlington native, 1-2. George Springer 0 for 1 today. Struck out looking on a low of the zone fastball in the first. 1-2. Swing and a miss. He got him. Changeup dropped off the table. Springer swings over top of it. And Reese Olson has a fourth consecutive scoreless inning. 1-0 Tigers headed to the fifth. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Here's what's happening on Sirius XM Sports.
The PGA Championship is rolling along. Jonathan Vegas is atop the leaderboard entering today's third round. World number 1 Scotty Scheffler is also in the mix. Catch live hole-by-hole coverage from Quail Hollow Club on PGA Championship Radio on Sirius XM Channel 92 and on the Sirius XM app.
Sirius XM Sports. Wherever you are, your team plays here. Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win your fantasy leagues right now on Channel 87.
Say goodbye, home run Aaron Judge.
From in-season fantasy baseball management to helping you prepare for your fantasy football drafts, Fantasy Sports Radio is here to help you dominate.
Don't ever take a player that you don't intend to keep all year. Don't do it. It's terrible management.
Fantasy Sports Radio, your home for fantasy sports. Channel 87 and on the Sirius XM app.
This is Mike Farron from Power Alley. When you work together as long as former general manager Jim Duquette and I have...
5 years.
13. Regardless, we know everything about each other, like my favorite city.
New York.
Chicago. My favorite food.
Hot dog with lots of ketchup.
Gross. My favorite musician.
Billy Joel.
Somehow even more gross. Jim, what do you actually know about me?
You love baseball, just like me.
Join us for baseball talk and apparently very little else on Power Alley, weekdays, 10 a.m. Eastern, MLB Network Radio, Channel 89, and on the Sirius XM app.
Well said, Mitch.
It's Mike.
Hi, this is Alexa. Did you know you can listen to this game on devices with Amazon Alexa? Download the Sirius XM app. Then tell me to play the Blue Jays on Sirius XM.
Tigers 1, Blue Jays nothing. Top of the fifth inning. Packed house here at Rogers Center. Game 2 of the series against Major League Baseball's best. Javier Baez leading off for the Tigers. And the pitch from Yariel Rodriguez is a breaking ball outside. Ball 1. Welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. It's Baez, Nito, McKinstry, bottom third of the Tigers order. 1-0. Fouled back, bounces off Heineman and rolls to the backstop. 1-1.
Yariel Rodriguez got away with one there. That was just a spinning slider right down the middle. Javi Baez took a huge swing and just fouled it off.
Javi Baez, a hitter to be feared once again. Came into this game hitting .307 with a mid-800s OPS. The 1-1. Swing and a miss. He will still chase, though. That slider well off the plate, and he went after it. 1-2.
And if I'm Yariel Rodriguez after that swing, I'm telling myself, do not throw anything hittable here. Throw something out of the strike zone. He has just shown you that he'll swing at something out of the strike zone.
The 1-2. Way down and away. Baez takes 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Maybe not that far outside.
There's a happy medium. Baez especially hot this month. 17 RBIs in May. Leads the American League. 2-2. Down and away, ball 3. His 5 home runs in May, tied with Aaron Judge for the most in the American League.
It's a good list to be on.
And he's hitting over 300. Payoff pitch. Popped up. Right side of the infield. Stefanik was backing up. Now he's creeping forward on the grass near Ernie Clement, the first baseman. He'll make the catch. 1 out. The fifth inning is brought to you by Desjardins Insurance. Get insurance that's really big on care at Desjardins.com/care today. Quick update on the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. Mets-Yankees has gone final. Edwin Diaz striking out Aaron Judge to win it for the Mets. Judge ends the day 0 for 5 with 3 strikeouts, and the Mets win 3-2. 1-0 Tigers in Toronto. 1 out top of the fifth. And more pitch comm issues, I believe. No, they're going to call pitch clock violation. Rodriguez stepped off again. He's saying it's a pitch comm issue. He does need to make that more clear, though, because he's just stepping off right now. And then he started to point to his hat after the violation had already been called. Unless I missed it, I don't think he was very clear about it initially.
Well, John Schneider is having a conversation with home plate umpire Ryan Blakeney right now. John Lannon's out to give him another pitch comm, and he's having a discussion with the third base umpire. There's all kinds of discussions going on right now. It actually looks like John Schneider and Ryan Blakeney are getting a little bit heated down there.
I mean, it's obviously frustrating to have a pitch comm violation cost you a ball. No doubt about that. I'm going to have to look back at it after this half inning, but it doesn't feel to me like the Blue Jays have made it clear enough to the umpires that this was the issue.
I think Tyler Heineman right now is explaining to him the situation. They're having more of a cordial chat down there than John Schneider and him did.
Well, that's an important relationship for a catcher with a guy standing right behind him. So the count is 1-0 after the automatic ball, and now the pitch to Tomas Nido, the catcher. Swing and a fly ball out to left. Charging in, Lucas pulls up. It drops in front of him for a base hit.
Tomas Nido, how about that? Continues to rake.
We had just mentioned the Mets. Nido, a longtime Met, has found a home here with the Tigers after struggling for parts of last season. Began the year at AAA, signed a minor league deal in January, but Jake Rogers went on the injured list April 8th with a left oblique strain. Nido's been up since. He's on first, and the pitch to Zach McKinstry. High and outside, ball one.
When Rogers comes back, does Nido go back to AAA?
I think so.
It's 32 at bats. But as a backup, hitting 350, that's pretty solid.
1-0. Called strike, 1-1. Well, you're not going to send Dingler down.
I don't know.
He was their second rounder in 2020, and he's hitting 270 with 4 bombs.
But my question is, do you want Dingler to be playing every day?
Well, if Rogers comes back, he won't be. 1-1 pitch, outside 2-1.
That's my point. So when Rogers comes back, Dingler...
You want 3 catchers?
No, Dingler should go back to AAA and play every single day.
Well, they've decided that they wanted him. Like They had Dingler up to start the year.
Which
so
I thought was strange to begin with, I think.
Probably will be somewhat of a split, Dingler and Rogers. 2-1. McKinstry hits a one-hopper to third. Picked up Barger. Throws to Bichette for 1. Toss over to first. In time. Good stretch. Ernie Clement, the new Blue Jays first baseman, reached out toward right field to bring it in and end a 6-5-3 double play. No runs on a hit. Nobody left for the Tigers, and it's 1-0 Detroit, middle of the 5th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The Preakness is here, and VSiN is covering all the action with a live show today beginning at 6 p.m. Eastern. Hi, everyone. I'm Mike Somich. Join me and Aaron Halterman for a special live edition of VSiN at the Track. We'll give you the latest news, we'll handicap the race, speak with top analysts, and give you our best bets for the Preakness Stakes. Join us live for VSiN at the Track starting at 6 p.m. Eastern on VSiN, the sports betting network. We'll help you make smart bets and enjoy the Preakness Stakes on SiriusXM Channel 158 and the SiriusXM app.
Wake up! Wake up, everybody!
This is Steve Phillips from the leadoff spot on MLB Network Radio. Join me and former Major League Baseball players Eduardo Perez and Xavier Scruggs as we react to all the latest news and scores across baseball and have plenty of fun along the way.
Steve, you were so right about that.
I don't know if anybody else thinks we're funny, but I think we're funny.
Why are you putting us or we into this?
The leadoff spot, weekdays at 7 a.m. Eastern on MLB Network Radio, Channel 89, and on the SiriusXM app.
This is John Paul Morosi. On the SiriusXM original podcast, The Road to Cooperstown, I sit down with Hall of Famer Mike Schmidt.
I spent all my time trying to be the best that I could be in front of the Philly fans. So there you might say Philly fans helped drive me.
The Road to Cooperstown airs Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern on MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM 89, and the SiriusXM app. New episodes drop every Tuesday wherever you get your podcasts.
In season or out of season, the number one place for college sports is SiriusXM College Sports Radio, Channel 84.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
Blue Jays baseball is presented by Crown Rust Protection. Thanks for tuning in today. Bottom of the 5th inning. Close ball game. Tigers 1, Blue Jays nothing. Reese Olson is dealing so far. He'll wind and deal to Addison Barger to start the inning. Swing and a high fly ball, medium depth left field. Riley Green putting his arms out to his sides to call for it, makes a two-handed catch to his left, and there's one out. Welcome to the Timbermart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. The Blue Jays, Chris, have one hit so far against Reese Olson, a single to start the game by Bo Bichette. That's it. Olson fires to Ernie Clement in the dirt, ball 1.
I think you have to give, and I said this yesterday with Jack Flaherty, but I think you have to give a little bit of credit to Reese Olson, who has been very good this season, and he continues to show why in this start. But you're right, though, the Blue Jays have to start.
Next pitch inside, 2-0.
At least having better at-bats, taking better swings, because Reese Olson has made a couple of mistakes. They just haven't taken advantage of those mistakes yet.
Definitely credit to Olson, though. Like you said, I mean, he is a very good pitcher. His ERA is around 3 right now as he hits the outside edge, makes the count 2-1. And especially recently, he's been good. Last 5 starts, a 1.95 ERA. He threw 7 1/3 shutout against the San Diego Padres. 2-1. Low, 3 balls and 1 strike. That was on April 23rd when he did that. But 1 hit, 1 walk. Still not very much, even with Olson pitching well. 3-1. Called a strike, 3-2. Good to see Ernie Clement hitting again. He had fouled a ball off his knee in the second. Remained in the ballgame, playing out of position today at first for Toronto. 3-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3.
It's a tough pitch. It's a slider that looks like a fastball, and I've said this a million times. If the arm speed is good and the plane of that slider looks like a fastball, it's almost impossible to hit. You can see just how uncomfortable Ernie Clement was on that pitch.
2 down, bases empty. Nathan Lucas, left-handed hitter, up for the Blue Jays. 1-0 Detroit in the bottom of the 5th. Olson fires and hits the zone. Strike 1.
Good thing is, though, Ben, it's only 1-0.
And Nathan Lucas, the newest power hitter on the Blue Jays. 3 home runs this season. 0-1. Sliced away foul, 0-2. Lucas has 3 homers and now his 30th game of the year. Last 2 seasons, he had appeared in 51 games across over 100 at-bats and had 1 home run. 0-2. High, 1 ball, 2 strikes. In the minors, Lucas once had a 10-plus home run season. 11 is his career high as he fouls off the 1-2 into his foot. Ginger walk around the dirt circle, still ball and 2 strikes. Known more for his contact, and he's done a solid job at that as well. 261 average. He's got an on-base percentage almost 100 points higher, and that's contributed to well above average 778 OPS. Lucas will ask for time, turns away from the plate and takes his helmet off, wiping sweat off of his forehead with his forearm.
And a lot like Michael Stefanik, not a ton of power, but absolutely raked in the minor leagues.
1-2. Twists away from a pitch that almost plunked him in the back. He had to go almost 270 twisting all the way to get away from that one. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Olson kicks, steals, and it's hooked on the ground to first. Torkelson runs into it and then takes it to the bag to end the inning. Reese Olson has retired the last 8 in a row and faced 1 above the minimum through 5 innings. It's 1-0 Tigers as we head to the 6th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Timbermart, locally owned, proudly Canadian. Your home team advantage with the right materials and the right price. Project know-how that's brought together a wealth of plans and solid advice. Trust your team at your locally owned Timber Mart. Timber Mart always has plans to help you with your plans. Your home, your cottage, your garage, whatever needs your attention first, check the most visited spot on our website for ready-to-order plans to get the job done with Canada's Building Centre. Visit timbermart.ca.
If you're looking for a fun day, did you know the day before Monday? Junior J Sunday. You can paint your face, come and meet Ace and run base to base. On Junior J Sunday. So many things to do. You could bring your crew and even mom and dad too. Junior J Sunday.
Lights up, let's go to Junior J Sundays. It's family fun throughout the ballpark with games and activities that your squad will never forget.
Feeling the song, grab your dad or mom, visit BlueJays.com. Junior J Sunday.
It's time to kickstart spring at TSC. Discover top brands to live it up outdoors. Shop gardening tools, patio lights, furniture, and more. And split purchases into 6 interest-free easy pay payments. We got what you need to get your green thumbs going. Light up your nights. Have some fun. Go on a camping adventure with Coleman. Crank up your playlist with Bose. And show everyone why you're the grill master with Weber. Make the most of spring. Shop now at tsc.ca. Exciting offers every day.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
He rocks the ball to left field. The Blue Jays have gone back-to-back.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The 6th inning is brought to you by Desjardins Insurance. Get insurance. It's really big on care at Desjardins.com/care today. Top of the 6th inning, it's a 1-0 game in favor of the Tigers and a pitching change for the Blue Jays. Lefty Brendan Little makes his 23rd appearance of the season, a 1.77 earned run average for the Southpaw. His pitch to Justin Henry Malloy misses high and outside, ball 1. It's 20 1/3 innings on the season for Little. 13 hits, 4 earned runs, 10 walks, 31 strikeouts in 20 1/3 innings. The 1-0, called a strike. He had 36 strikeouts in over 45 innings last year. He's 5 away from matching last year's total. The 1-1. Ugly swing and a miss. Malloy trying to hold up on, I believe, a cutter that broke in. Or rather, that's the power curve, 1-2.
87 miles an hour. That curveball is very hard, very sharp. I mean, there's a couple of reasons why that strikeout rate is so high. It's the movement on the fastball, and then that straight down knuckle curve.
1-2. Check swing on a curve, low appeal to first, no swing. Heineman had applied the tag because it bounced just to be safe, but it'll go to 2 balls and 2 strikes. He does have 2 fastballs, but the sinker much more of a factor than the cutter. And the knuckle curve, the big swing and miss pitch.
A lot of swing and miss on that sinker too, though.
For sure. For sure. 2-2. Check swing on a pitch down and in. Not that close to going that time, so no appeal. Full count.
I feel like if Tyler Heineman would have framed that pitch, it would have looked a little bit better. I'm actually surprised that he caught it like he did.
Little's 3-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Speaking of swing and miss on the sinker, he punches out Malloy, 1 down.
Well, I've said this a lot this season, but Brendan Little's sinker is so good. There's so much downward movement to it that all he has to do is throw that thing right down the middle and let it work. And he did exactly that right there to Malloy for the strikeout.
The pitching change to Little, by the way, brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays, locally owned, genuinely Canadian. His offering to Gleyber Torres. Down and away, ball 1. Little's the 3rd Blue Jay pitcher used today. Eric Lauer and Yariel Rodriguez essentially piggybacked for a start, covering 5 innings, and they were good, allowing 4 hits and 1 run. 1-0. Hit on the ground, softly up the middle. Vacuumed up Bichette, sidearm sling to first. Clement with the stretch. 2 outs.
They were both really good, and if you look at Yariel Rodriguez's ERA now, it's down to 3.52. Very quietly being one of those very reliable guys out of that Blue Jays bullpen.
And that's after He allowed 3 runs in his first inning of work this season, so his baseline was a 27 ERA, and he's been working it down ever since. 2 outs, base is empty. Infield shifts towards first base a little bit because the left-handed hitter Riley Green is up. The pitch. Down and away, ball 1. Green looking to get going. 0 for 2 today with a strikeout swinging and a strikeout looking, both against the lefty Eric Lauer. 1-0. Called strike.
Riley Green's hitting 196 against left-handed pitchers this season and 314 against righties.
1-1, swing and a miss, 1-2. You have a lot of these guys on the Tigers. They have focused on guys with big platoon splits. They'll have a very different lineup a lot of the time against lefties and righties. Green is so good, he's going to hit 3 or 4 no matter what. But their plan is to plug and play at times and punish you with advantages. The 1-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Got him on the curve. 2 strikeouts in a 1-2-3 inning for Brendan Little. Still 1-0 Tigers, middle of the 6th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Multicultural. International. Undeniable. Your connection to the sounds from the East. To the voices of a global phenomenon on SiriusXM K-pop. How you like that? Or explore trending hits by Asian talents from around the world on Horizon. Listen to these and more anytime at home with SiriusXM on your phone, computer, Alexa, TV, or other internet-connected devices.
Hey, Jim Rome here. What's cracking?
Hi.
Hope you're enjoying the game. And when you're not taking in a game, find us on Sirius Channel 161, XM Channel 206. In fact, we'll be there every weekday afternoon, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Time. If you've got something you want to break down from this game, you know where to find us. Just make sure you have it taken, don't suck.
Step your game up.
That has never changed. In fact, the show has never changed. We're just back home. And it's great to be there. Sirius 161, XM 206. See you there.
An exciting new era has just arrived.
In 2015, Jordan Spieth produced a year for the ages. The Masters, the U.S. Open, the ridiculous putting. Let's revisit the Golden Child's golden season. Listen to 2015, the year of Jordan Spieth. Hosted by yours truly, Colt Knost. And browse the entire catalog of golf originals. Search PGA Tour radio specials on the SiriusXM app.
From in-season fantasy baseball management to helping you prepare for your fantasy football drafts, Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you dominate. Channel 87 and on the SiriusXM app.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
Home half of the 6th inning, and just about time for the Blue Jays to get going with the sticks, trailing 1-0 to the Detroit Tigers. Tyler Heineman leads off the frame against right-hander Reese Olson. Switch hitting catcher Heineman bats from the left side. Black bat, dark batting gloves. The pitch. Called low. Might have had the zone. It's ball 1. Heineman is the last Blue Jay to reach. Walked on over 10 pitches, 12 to be exact in the 3rd. 1-0. Roped foul way out in front on that pitch, but he hammered the four-seamer into the netting down the right field line. It's 1-1.
Well, he's obviously seeing the baseball out of Reese Olson's hand pretty well.
The 1-1. Called a strike. Might have been outside. Heineman turning around to talk to Ryan Blakeney for a moment. It's 1-2.
Didn't love that call. You could see him mouthing, "That's not a strike," and then shaking his head.
Open stance for Heineman, leans back slightly. The 1-2 pitch. Down and away. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
He seems pretty locked in right now, doesn't he? That was a tough pitch down below the strike zone. Pretty easy take from Heineman.
Very confident for Tyler Heineman when he's up there. And although he's a veteran of pro ball, he hasn't played a ton in the big leagues. 2-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. That's a nasty changeup, getting Heineman out front. 5th K of the day for Olsen, 1 down.
That's the one right there. If you're Reese Olsen, try to throw that thing again, almost every pitch. Looked like a fastball and had a ton of drop to it.
In a moment, we'll go to the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. Blue Jays down 1-0 in Toronto. 1 out, bases empty, bottom 6, and Michael Stefanik hit it. First pitch, called a strike, 0-1. So some news earlier today. Brandon Hyde, 2 years ago, manager of the year, 101-win Orioles won the division. Today he's fired by Baltimore. 0-1 pitch, fouled away by Stefanik, 0-2. Orioles in action. Tony Mansolino took over, by the way, the third base coach. You might have thought it was the bench coach, but Robinson Chirinos, who they just brought in to be their bench coach, actually doesn't have a ton of coaching experience. So they go with Mansolino instead. His first game, unfortunately for him, not going very well so far. Nationals up 6-0 on the Orioles in the top of the first. 0-2. Stefanik hits it on the ground, a bouncer to second base. Shuffling over toward first, Keith makes the throw over to Torkelson, 2 down.
I was going to say it's probably a good idea not to choose Robinson Chirinos just because he is so green.
Yeah,
he was playing a couple of years ago. No,
really recently. So they go with Mansolino. Obviously, this doesn't really have to do anything with him, but down 6-0 in the top of the first. Kyle Gibson could not make it out of the first. Allowed 6 hits and 6 earned runs in 2/3 of an inning. Charlie Morton has taken over. First pitch to Bo Bichette, called a strike, 0-1. So 6-0 Nats in Baltimore, 1-0 Tigers in Toronto. 2 outs, bottom of the 6th inning. The pitch home, called a strike. 94 just grazed the inside corner, 0-2. 81 pitches for Reese Olsen, 1 strike away from finishing off the 6th. His 2-strike pitch, down and away, ball 1. The 1-2, down and in, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Blue Jays are just unloading that bullpen, aren't they? Chad Green getting loose right now.
They've already used Rodriguez and Little. Green is getting loose. Interesting that Little and Rodriguez both pitched yesterday, as did Green. 2-2. Down and away, ball 3. Bichette doing everything he could to hold up that swing. He started to go held up, and it seemed like because he had to stop his momentum, the rest of his body stumbled forward to the front of the plate. Full count, 2 outs, bases empty, wave going around at Rogers Center. The 3-2. Check swing, down and away was the pitch, appealed out at first, and it's called strike 3 on appeal. 2 strikeouts in a 1-2-3 inning for Reese Olsen. He has retired 11 in a row and kept the Tigers in front 1-0 as we head to the 7th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Timber Mart always has plans to help you with your plans. Your home, your cottage, your garage, whatever needs your attention first, check the most visited spot on our website for ready-to-order plans to get the job done with Canada's Building Center. Visit timbermart.ca.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Which loony dogger are you? Do you approach Tuesdays with swagger and style? You could be a Rizzy Glizzy. Maybe you're an architect stacking your loony dogs up high. Do you walk into the ballpark with the confidence of an MVD? Then you're the most valuable dogger. This season at Rogers Center, every Tuesday home game is Looney Dogs Night, presented by Schneider's. No matter which loony dogger you are, you'll have the opportunity opportunity to purchase $1 hot dogs from various concession stands around the ballpark. Looney Dogs Night, presented by Schneider's. Every Tuesday home game. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
Timber Mart is Canada's building center. Your home team advantage with the right materials and the right price. Project know-how that's brought together a wealth of plans and solid advice. Trust your team at your locally owned Timber Mart. Find your location at timbermart.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. How about 99 right down the middle beats Manzardo?
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Pitching change for the Blue Jays as we go to the 7th inning. Chad Green enters for Toronto with the Tigers leading 1-0. Pitching change brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays. Locally owned, genuinely Canadian. Green was going to go right on right with Andy Ibanez to start this inning, but AJ Hinch has gone to his bench, and Kerry Carpenter is on now, hitting in the spot of Ibanez, a left-handed hitter, so it takes the platoon advantage away from Green, and now a pitch comm issue is going on the mound right now. Green stepped off. Looks like they have that settled, and we'll get going. The pitch to Carpenter. Swing and a miss, strike 1. 21st appearance on the season for Chad Green. Just under 20 innings. He's allowed 8 runs for a 3.66 ERA. 0-1. Hit high in the air to center field. Dalton Varsho backing up. A little bit to right center. Now he jogs in and makes the catch. 1 out.
He's been solid. I think obviously gave up that home run last night, but for the majority of the season, he's been pretty solid. Obviously, we talked about this last night, but he's throwing his slider a lot more, and that's become really effective. But that last fastball was 96 miles an hour at the top of the strike zone. That's when he's at his best, is when he's able to throw that four-seamer to the top of the strike zone.
His pitch to Spencer Torkelson is lined and caught, leaping at third by Addison Barger. Climbing the ladder, he makes the play for the 2nd out.
He's looked really good over there, not only today, but for the majority of his time over there this season. Just so effortless right there. Big reaction. What a play.
2nd time Torkelson is lined out to the 3rd baseman. 2 down, here's Colt Keith. The pitch. Called strike, 0-1. Didn't get to mention this yesterday, but Chad Green, a draft pick of the Detroit Tigers, started his professional career there, even though he never wore a Tiger uniform at the major league level. 0-1. High, 1 ball, 1 strike. I asked him about it. He admitted, he's been in the big leagues for about a decade, and he never played for them. So he said it's not a huge thing, but you do have a soft spot for the team that gave you your first opportunity in pro ball. The 1-1. Hit foul, 1-2. But the only guys that he knows over with the Tigers now, because it's no longer the Al Avila regime, it's completely different coaches, are guys he knows from the Yankees, Tommy Kahnle and Gleyber Torres. 2 out, space is empty. And the 1-2. Check swing, pitch low, appeal down to 3rd. No swing, says Trip Gibson, 2-2. Was dealt from the Tigers to the Yankees in 2015. Justin Wilson went the other way. 2-2. High and outside, ball 3. You would have just missed Chad Green with the Yankees?
He was in the organization with me. I remember speaking to him during spring training.
3-2. High and outside, ball 4. Inning continues as Keith walks with 2 outs.
He was in minor league camp when I was in big league camp. I don't think we ever crossed paths at the AAA level. But I do remember him.
You wouldn't have been with Scranton Wilkes-Barre in 2016?
No.
That was Buffalo?
Yeah.
So you missed him by a year?
Yeah.
Two outs, runner on first after the Green walk, and here's the guy that got him yesterday, Javier Baez, hit a solo home run off an elevated four-seamer from Chad Green. The pitch. Swing and a high fly ball. Deep center field. Varsho going back now. Stops in front of the track. Runs in to make the catch. And end the inning. No runs, no hits. One left for the Tigers at the 7th inning stretch. It's still the Tigers by a run. 1-0 is the score. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
If you're looking for a fun day, did you know the day before Monday? Junior J Sunday. You can paint your face, come and meet Ace and run base to base. On Junior J Sunday. So many things to do. You could bring your crew and even mom and dad too. Junior J Sunday.
Lights up, let's go to Junior J Sundays. It's family fun throughout the ballpark with games and activities that your squad will never forget.
Feeling the song, grab your dad or mom, visit BlueJays.com. Junior J Sunday.
Knock all your summer projects out of the park with Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer of the Toronto Blue Jays and your DIY partner in making your dream home a reality. From gardens to garages, back decks to front doors, refreshes and renos, we're here to help you cover all your bases and make every summer project a home run. Visit any of our 1,000+ home hardware and building center locations where we're proud to be locally owned and genuinely Canadian.
Guess who just bundled their home and auto with Desjardins Insurance?
Well, look at you, all grown up and saving money.
Yes, I am.
Mom told you to do it, didn't she?
Yes, she did.
Get insurance that's really big on care. Switch and you could save up to 35% on home insurance when you bundle home and auto. Desjardins Insurance, here for your home, auto, life, and business needs. Certain conditions apply.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
10 Ks today for Kevin Gausman in 7 scoreless innings.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
7th inning is brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays, locally owned, genuinely Canadian. Bottom of the 7th. And I guess a positive sight for the Blue Jays. It's a new pitcher for the Tigers. Reese Olson out after 6 shutout innings. And Bo Brisky, the right-hander, who picked up the save around some traffic yesterday when the Tigers beat the Blue Jays 5-4. 1-0 Detroit. Brisky's pitch to Vlad. Outside, ball 1. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is 0 for 2 today. He has a 17-game on-base streak in the balance. And the Blue Jays, more importantly, trailing by 1. 1-0 pitch is low. 2 balls, no strikes. It's a bit closer by committee for Detroit, but I still can't say that I wasn't surprised when Brisky came out for the save yesterday. Will Vest had thrown a lot of pitches recently, so he wasn't used. The 2-0. Called strike 2 and 1. And I say that because Brisky has largely struggled this year. 6.5 ERA in 13 2/3 innings.
I was a bit surprised too, and it's not so much the full body of work. It's more recently for him. He's given up 3 earned runs in his last couple of outings.
2-1 is outside, 3-1. Yesterday, he allowed a single to Miles Straw and Michael Stefanik, putting the winning run on base and the tying run in scoring position, but he got pinch hitter Ernie Clement to ground out. The 3-1 to Vlad Guerrero. Hit off the end of the bat, foul, deep into the seats, right side.
He does have big stuff, though. He's got closer stuff. I think we saw the fastball last night up to 98 miles an hour, so there's really no wonder why he's pitching at the back end of ball games, but at the same time, you have to look at the numbers as well.
Brisky mid to high 90s with a 4-seamer and a sinker, throws a changeup and a slider as well. But it's a lot of heaters. 3-2. Low ball 4. Guerrero reaches 18th game in a row that he's aboard, and the tying run is on for the Blue Jays in the bottom of the 7th.
That's a big walk in this ball game. Obviously, in the 7th inning, the Blue Jays have to take advantage of that. Somehow getting him into scoring position with less than 2 outs.
But while you want Guerrero to hit the big home run, you also don't want him swinging at balls when he could be the tying run on base. So Vladdy settles in at first, and Dalton Varsho's up. Varsho homered yesterday to start the scoring for the Blue Jays. Brisky's going to step off now before the first pitch. Some defensive changes, by the way, for Detroit. They had lifted Andy Ibanez for Kerry Carpenter, and now they lift Carpenter and switch some things around. First, the pitch to Varsho. Outside ball 1. So Ibanez was the third baseman. Pardon me. Carpenter stays in. He goes to right field. Right fielder Justin Henry Malloy is out of the ball game. At third base now is Zach McKinstry, who started the day at short. And over to shortstop goes Trey Sweeney. He is in the batting order for Malloy. Next pitch to Varsho. Hammered to right field. Hooking to the corner. And it's foul. Home run distance on a line out to right. And I think there's going to be a crew chief review here, as that one might have gone out.
Yeah, I think the Blue Jays are looking at this right now, too. And I know they don't have to. Like you said, there's going to be a crew chief review. But I'm pretty sure that ball's foul.
We have a crew chief review for the potential of a home run. The call on the field was foul ball.
So they are going to look at it again. The call on the field, foul ball. Steven Yashinsky, the Burlington native, had turned around and was pretty emphatic right away that it was foul. Now we'll look at the replay and see, did the ball cross in front of the foul netting, in which case it would be foul, or do we see it cross behind the netting, in which case it would be fair?
We haven't got a good view of it yet, but I mean, it looks like a foul ball to me. A good call by him.
Didn't see much of a reaction from Varsho, who you'd have to think had a pretty good angle on it as well, running up the first baseline.
Also not much of a reaction from the Toronto Blue Jays bench either, and they've seen the replay. They've seen multiple angles, so I'm assuming that they think that this call will not be reversed.
Looks like they have the call right now.
After review, the call on the field is confirmed foul ball.
Feet, maybe inches from taking the lead. It does stand as a foul ball rather than a two-run homer for Dalton Varsho, who does have the team-high 6 in only 12 games, and even that undersells it, because one of those 12 games he came in defensively and never got a plate appearance. So really 6 in 11 games so far for Varsho. Runner on first, nobody out. Brisky's 1-1. Bounced up the middle. Vladdy racing towards second, and the throw over to first by Keith for the out. Keith is saying Guerrero touched that ball. The umpire at second, Marvin Hudson, waved that he didn't touch it. And Marvin Hudson is now telling the dugout of the Tigers that's not a reviewable play. You could clearly see him say that. A.J. Hinch is upset. All he can do is get an explanation, though. If it's not a reviewable play, it's not a reviewable play, and Guerrero with the hustle is safe at second.
Well, Colt Keith was adamant that Vladimir Guerrero Jr. touched that baseball. We haven't seen a replay yet, so I can't give you my opinion on it. But it was really, really close. I think he did. That ball actually changed direction from the replay that I just saw.
We're getting a slow motion view now.
Looks like it touched his left leg. Watch that again, Ben. That's not a good angle.
Yeah, we didn't get the right angle. It's hard for me to tell for sure, but regardless, the call on the field safe, and they can't overturn that. So, Vladdy sprinting over to second gives the Blue Jays an opportunity here to tie the game on a single. Guerrero both prevented a double play and got himself into scoring position. George Springer is up, 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts today. 1-0 Tigers over the Blue Jays. 5 hits total in this ballgame. 4 of them belong to Detroit. The pitch home. Low ball 1. George Springer punished the Tigers last year with 7 RBIs in 6 games against them. Can he do it again here in his 50th career game against Detroit? The 1-0. Low ball 2. The pitching change to Bo Brisky this inning, by the way, brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays, locally owned, genuinely Canadian. Brisky shakes off a sign, now sets and steps off immediately. That was an awkward sequence there for the righty reliever. Toronto has one thing against Brisky they didn't do in 6 innings against Reese Olson. A runner in scoring position. Vladdy on second, and the 2-0. Downstairs, ball 3.
You could tell Brisky didn't want any part of George Springer. 2-0 there. Didn't want to give him anything he could drive. This is a big pitch here.
Lefty Tyler Holton is warming up right now for the Tigers. Addison Barger waiting on deck. The 3-0 to Springer. Taken all the way, he takes strike 1. So 3-0 slider there from Brisky. One nothing Detroit. 1 out, bottom 7. Brisky's 3-1. Called strike. That pitch was low. George Springer upset, and he has reason to be upset. That pitch is at least half a ball below the zone.
Yeah, he's really upset. Took 2 or 3 steps outside of the batter's box. That is not a strike, and that's a big call in this ball game. George Springer should be at first base right now.
Instead of full count, the offering. Up and in, ball 4. Got it up near the chin of Springer, who danced out of the way, and he does get first base after all, after a little bit of stress. Toronto has runners on first and second, and A.J. Hinch has a decision to make. It looks like he's about to make a pitching change. Brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays, locally owned, genuinely Canadian. With the left-hander Tyler Holton about to enter, we go over to today's host, Show Ali.
Thank you very much, Ben. Let's check out that St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. And as we often have in the last few weeks, we will start with the Stanley Cup playoffs. The second round beginning to wrap up. We already have 2 of 4 teams in the conference finals, one in the East, one in the West. In the East, the Carolina Hurricanes beating the Washington Capitals in 5 games. They await the winner of Leafs-Panthers. In the West, the Oilers thumping the Golden Knights in 5 games as well. They await the winner of Stars-Jets. And speaking of which, we could get the winner of that series as soon as tonight. The Stars enter play in Dallas this evening, up 3-2 in the series. The Jets coming off a 4-0 shutout win in Game 5, so they'll need to win again to send this series back to Winnipeg. Game 6 will go later this evening in about 3 hours, a little over 3 hours, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on Sportsnet and the CBC. In the Eastern Conference, the Leafs managed to avoid elimination and force a winner-take-all Game 7. They blanked the Panthers 2-0 last night with Joseph Wall in net. They send the series back to Toronto as Game 7 will go 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on Sunday evening. You'll be able to watch that game on Sportsnet, and after the conclusion of the game, Leafs talk with JD Bunkus, Sam McKee, and Justin Bourne will follow on the radio on Sportsnet Plus and on Sportsnet's YouTube page. And I know many of you guys are fans of minor league updates from time to time. Well, yesterday, MLB.com's Keegan Matheson reporting that the Blue Jays are promoting their number 2 prospect, Trey Yesavage, to the High A Vancouver Canadians. He compiled a 2.43 ERA alongside 55 strikeouts over 33 1/3 innings pitched for Dunedin, which they say is pretty good. Alongside Yesavage, the Jays also sending Cal Steven and Gage Stanifer, all of whom have been very dominant in the Florida State League through 6 weeks. Yesavage expected to start for the Canadians on Tuesday. They will also be joining the team's number 1 prospect, Arjun Namala, who has also been off to a terrific start in Vancouver as well. Blue Jays baseball, as always, is brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Let's get you back to the action right here at the Rogers Center. With the call, here are Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you very much, Joe. New pitcher for the Tigers, lefty Tyler Holton, and new batter for the Blue Jays, right-handed hitter Miles Straw, in for the lefty swinger Addison Barger. 1-0 Detroit, 1 out, bottom of the 7th, and the pitch. Hit on the ground, up the middle, fielded there by Sweeney. Flips to second, 1 throw to first, in time for an inning-ending double play. 1 pitch was all Tyler Holton needed to end the jam that Brisky got the Tigers into, and we head to the 8th. Tigers up 1-0. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
drama builds.
Baseball's in full swing.
This ball's gone!
Hear every MLB game on SiriusXM.
And they'll be talking about this one for a long, long time.
Listen to your favorite team all season long with your hometown announcers on the SiriusXM app.
A breathtaking home run by Aaron Judge.
For a complete MLB schedule, go to SiriusXM.com/sports.
What a night!
Every night after the final out, the Round Trip Roundup brings you the scores, highlights, and analysis from every game across Major League Baseball, all in less than 30 minutes.
Swung on and missed, strike 3 and a no-hitter.
It's the perfect way to get caught up on all the night's biggest home runs and best performances.
And a high drive, deep right center.
It's the Round Trip Roundup on MLB Network Radio every night on SiriusXM Channel 89 and every morning on the SiriusXM app.
No one brings you the passion of the beautiful game quite like SiriusXM FC.
Would you believe this?
Whether it's live matches from the EPL, MLS, the NWSL, or the UEFA Champions League.
This is sensational!
Or live talk shows featuring the sport's most entertaining experts.
You don't get to say, I don't feel like making that play right now. You make the play.
It's the world of soccer at your fingertips.
How mouth-watering is that?
SiriusXM FC, channel 157 in the car, and streaming on the SiriusXM app.
24/7, 365. Coverage of all things NASCAR. All things NASCAR happens exclusively on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio, Channel 90.
Welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. Alongside Chris LaRue, I'm Ben Schulman. 8th inning and a new pitcher for the Blue Jays. Jimmy Garcia into the ballgame in a pitching change brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays. Locally owned, genuinely Canadian. Jimmy Garcia enters, and the Blue Jays have some changes after Miles Straw hit in the game for Addison Barger. Ernie Clement goes to third base. Vladdy moves from the DH spot to first base. Barger out of the game, so effectively Jimmy Garcia is now batting in that Addison Barger spot. Garcia's pitch to Tomas Nido, called a strike, 0-1. Now, of course, he will not hit, but the Blue Jays will have to use pinch hitters going forward in that spot. 0-1. Big hack and a miss by Nido, who checked on Heineman to make sure he didn't hit his fellow catcher in the backswing. 0-2.
There's that good fastball that was missing for a couple of outings from Jimmy Garcia, 98 miles an hour.
Looked good for the Blue Jays last couple times out, including the save he got in the one win in the series against the Rays. Righty's 0-2. Hit on a line and caught by Bichette. Soft liner sinking near shortstop. He reached out with the backhand. 1 down. Jimmy Garcia on the season now with 3.63 ERA after that 1 out recorded. His 19th appearance of the year, and the first pitch to McKinstry is hit on a line to second, almost identical to the other side. Caught shoestring by Stefanik, 2 down. Blue Jays trailing 1-0 top of the 8th. St. Louis Bar and Grill out of town scoreboard. 6-3 Cubs over the White Sox, bottom 8 at Wrigley. Marlins and Rays scoreless in the 4th in Miami, and 7-0 Nationals at Orioles in the 2nd at Camden Yards. Pitch to Trey Sweeney, squares to bunt and pops it up foul past the netting and onto the top of the Blue Jays third base dugout. 0-1. First time Sweeney hits, he came in defensively in the bottom of the 7th. Former Yankee and Dodger prospect, a left-handed hitting shortstop. The 0-1. Foul tip into the glove of Heineman on an 88-mile-per-hour curve. 0-2.
It actually looks like Anthony Santander has a bat in his hand in that dugout. I don't know if that's just for show.
Interesting. He doesn't have a hoodie on anymore. Santander, we were told, dealing with a left hip impingement in addition to shoulder issues. 0-2. Hit back foul into the backstop, still 0-2.
He's also sweating, so that tells me that he was in the cage, just taking swings in the back there behind that dugout.
I would have thought maybe if he was available, he would have hit in that Miles Straw spot last time up, although he's been better as a lefty than a righty this year, so maybe they didn't want to use him to pinch hit as a right-handed hitter. Another 0-2, and it's snared at first on a bounce by Guerrero. Went down to his knees off to the left to make a nice play. Took it to the bag to end the inning. The Blue Jays pitchers keep on rolling on this bullpen day, but it's still 1-0 Tigers, middle of the 8th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Knock all your summer projects out of the park with Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer of the Toronto Blue Jays and your DIY partner in making your dream home a reality. From garden.
Welcome, baseball fans! How are you doing today, this morning, this evening, the middle of the night, wherever it is where you're watching from? And that's what it brings us to, the time of the show for you to let us know where you're watching from all over the world. Let's see how far our reach is for this Blue Jays game here today on Toronto Sports Insider. Oh, there goes an alarm to start another live. We really appreciate you being here. Please put your city and province in the chat, city and state if you're in the USA, or your flag emoji all over the world. Check out the link that's pinned in our description or in the chat. That's going to take you to our live viewer map tab on our website, and look out for a lot more content coming out soon on the Millions app. We achieved 100,000 subscribers here on YouTube, and we're not stopping. The next logical goal, 1 million, right? Let's go get that gold plaque. We'll see you back in the chat and over on Millions. Download the app on your phone, Apple, Android, whatever. Check it out. We'll see you over there. And thank you for letting us know where our reach is all over the world.
Ball swing and a miss, strike 3. 10 punch-outs for Gausman.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
1-0 Tigers, bottom of the 8th inning at Rogers Center. Tyler Holton back out. The lefty reliever deals to Ernie Clement, who fouls it back 0-1. Alongside Chris LaRue, I'm Ben Schulman. Holton came on first and second, 1 out in the 7th, and the first pitch he threw of the outing got a ground ball double play off the bat of Miles Straw. 0-1. Fouled away, 0-2.
Holton's been very good over the course of his career. 153 ball games, 12-6 with a 2.29 ERA. Pretty solid numbers.
He has had some rough outings recently. His 0-2. Outside, 1 ball and 2 strikes. You look at the last 3 for Holton coming into this one. On the 10th, he gave up a run in 1 inning on 2 hits, gave up a solo home run. Comes back on the 13th for his next outing, gives up a run again in an inning and 2/3. And then on the 14th, didn't give up a run, but didn't get an out. Facing 3 batters, he gave up 2 hits and a walk. Now he misses outside to Clement. It's 2 balls, 2 strikes. Those are the 3 outings he's had coming into today, so he is really looking for a bounce back. Cutter first lefty, kicks and offers. And Clement pops it up foul, out of play into the seats. Cutter, sinker, change, sweeper, four-seamer, and curve for the lefty reliever Holton.
He's got a ton of pitches, and he won't overpower you. That sinker's 91 miles an hour average, so you're waiting back, you're waiting for your pitch, but again, he throws a lot of strikes with a lot of different looks.
2-2 again. And he hit him. Or did he? It looked like he did, but maybe it just bounced past him. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Clement remains at the plate.
It looked like it hit his foot because that ball bounced straight up, didn't it?
Blue Jays are at least thinking about looking at it, but if Clement didn't react, they're not going to challenge. If Ernie's not asking for it, then it didn't hit him. So it'll be a full count. One 1-0 Tigers, bottom of the 8th. Clement leading off the inning. Payoff pitch. In the dirt, ball 4. The rare walk for Ernie Clement, who tosses the bat aside, and Toronto has the tying run aboard.
It's pretty good at bat from from Ernie Clement. Like you said, doesn't walk a ton, but that's a big walk in this ball game. Now Nathan Lucas needs to get him into scoring position with less than 2 outs.
I wonder if they think about a bunt from Lucas. 1-0 Tigers, bottom of the 8th. No outs, runner on first. We're going to check on the standings in a sec. But first, the left-on-left pitch. Squares to bunt. And did he pull it back? He did. Peel down to third just to check for sure. And it's no bunt, says Tripp Gibson. So that'll be ball 1.
With the guy on first base, it's Nathan Lucas's job to get that bunt to the first base side. So you force the first baseman to field that ground ball.
1-0. Pulls it back again, takes a strike at the bottom of the zone. Third baseman McKinstry is playing in. First baseman Torkelson can't really play in because he's holding on the runner Clement. So he'll crash in once he sees the pitch is going home. 1-1. Squaring again. Lucas bunts this one toward third. Picked up McKinstry and the toss over to first for the out. Didn't drag it with him, but got it far enough away from McKinstry and Holton that Ernie Clement was easily getting into second.
Well, I think the most important thing about that situation there is Ernie Clement got a really good jump from first base. He saw that ball going to the ground, and he immediately took off. There was really no shot at second base to get him.
Now the Blue Jays are going to bring on Alejandro Kirk, hitting in the spot of Tyler Heineman. Heineman had been on deck, perhaps deking A.J. Hinch and the Tigers, but now Kirk steps into the box to a big applause. That's going to prompt A.J. Hinch to go out to the mound. Will Vest is loosening up, and they are going to make the call for Vest. 1-0 for the Tigers, 1 out. Bottom 8. Let's quickly go over to the Bet365 standings. With Bet365, you can watch thousands of live games, build your own bet, and you can even make a bet while the game's still being played. 19+ play responsibly, Ontario only. After the loss, Yankees 26-19. Red Sox and Blue Jays both 4.5 back. Red Sox 22-24. Blue Jays 21-23. The Rays a game behind both of those two at 20-24, and the Orioles 15-28. As Vest warms up, let's go to today's host. Here's Show Ali.
Thank you very much, Ben. Let's check in on the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. We were talking about hockey earlier. Let's check in on the NBA, where the playoffs are also in full swing. The second round almost done there as well. So first of all, we have the Pacers already in the Eastern Conference Finals for the second straight year. The first time they've reached the conference finals in consecutive years since 2013-2014. They will take on the New York Knicks, who waxed the Boston Celtics in Game 6 last night. 119-84, the final score. Sets up the rematch with the Pacers. Last year, they played each other in the East semifinals. This year, they are two of the final 4 teams still standing. We also had Anthony Edwards and the Timberwolves sending the Warriors packing a few nights ago. So Minnesota also off to the Western Conference Finals for the second straight year. They'll take on the winner of Thunder Nuggets. We did have a chance for that series to wrap up in 6 games, but Kitchener's Jamal Murray besting Hamilton, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander as the Nuggets avoided elimination with a 119-107 win over the Thunder. Jamal Murray had been questionable for that game with an illness ahead of Game 6, but still poured in 25 points as the series now heads back to OKC for a decisive Game 7, which will be tomorrow afternoon. And speaking of Sunday's Game 7, some news from ESPN's Shams Charania. Charania reporting the Nuggets forward Aaron Gordon has been diagnosed with a left hamstring strain. His status now in doubt for Game 7, so we'll see if Gordon does suit up tomorrow. Tip-off of that game just after 3:30 p.m. Eastern Sunday afternoon. Blue Jays baseball, as always, brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Let's get you back to the action. Here are Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you very much, Joe. Pitching change for the Tigers brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays, locally owned, genuinely Canadian. Hard-throwing right-hander Will Vest into the game. Blue Jays have the tying run on second, 1 out, bottom 8. And Vest deals to the pinch hitter, Alejandro Kirk. 96 for a strike, 0-1. Vest shares closing duties mostly with Tommy Kahnle. Vest has 4 saves this year, Kahnle 5. The 0-1. 97 on the inside edge. Called strike, 0-2.
It looked like Alejandro Kirk was trying to call time before that pitch. He was pretty angry after that strike was called. I don't think he was angry with the call. I think he was upset that he didn't get time called.
0-2 pitch. High and outside, ball one. He did the right thing. He tried to do it verbally instead of putting the hand up, because if they don't grant it and you got one hand on your bat, you got no chance. But maybe Ryan Blakeney didn't hear it. The 1-2. Sliced foul. Right side, still a ball and 2 strikes. Will Vest has been dominant this year. A 1.80 ERA in 20 innings. That's 4 earned runs allowed in 20 innings. 7 walks, 23 strikeouts. 4-seamer, slider, sinker, and change. With a runner on second, Vest tucks the ball into his dark-colored glove. The 1-2. Bounce to the plate. Good block there. Agile from Nito, moving over to his right. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
That's a huge block in this ball game. You have 1 out in this inning. You have the tying run at second base. It's very important that he doesn't get to third base.
Two. Up and in, ball 3. Fourth season with the Tigers for Vest. More saves this year already than he's had in any previous season. His payoff pitch. Hit away foul to the right. Kirk looking like he's been playing all day, catching up to 96 to poke it over the netting.
It's a pretty big swing for a 2-strike approach right there. Falling over the plate. Looking like he wants to go ahead in this ball game with 1 swing.
3 home runs, 16 RBIs total on the year for the .275 hitter Alejandro Kirk. Payoff pitch again. Bounced foul again. That time Vest slowed it down with a 90-mile-per-hour slider. It was left a little over the plate, but Kirk just chopped at it foul. Clement's got speed on second. A single to the outfield should give him a good chance to score. 1-0 Tigers, bottom 8. With 1 out, the pitch. Line, right field, base hit, rolling into the corner. Clement jogs home. Kirk stops at first with a pinch hit. Game-tying single in the 8th. 1-1. Off the bench and impacting the game. A massive knock from the Blue Jay backstop, Alejandro Kirk.
Well, how about Alejandro Kirk doing what he does best, taking that very good fastball at 98 on the outside part of the plate and just hammering it the other way.
So this game tied at 1 on the Blue Jays' second hit of the game. And now the pitch to Michael Stefanik, called a strike. 0-1. Small ball for the Blue Jays. A walk, a bunt, and an RBI single. 0-1. Fouled away, 0-2. Tigers led all the way from the top of the second until now. In a 1-1 game, the Blue Jays have Jeff Hoffman loosening up in left field. 1 out, the 0-2. Inside, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
I like Stefanik up at that plate right now. He's got a good eye, good approach. And there's a big hole on the right side of that infield.
Right on right, the 1-2. Called outside. Confident take by Stefanik. That pitch looked like it had the outside corner. That's a tough break for Will Vest, 2-2.
That's as good as it gets. A 97-mile-an-hour sinker right on the corner outside. I'm sure Stefanik thought he was rung up there.
2-2. Fouled away. You mentioned liking Stefanik, the overall package and approach. In a good way, John Schneider called Stefanik's game simple today. He doesn't chase much, good contact hitter, and he described him as a, quote, grinder in the box. 2-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Gets him to swing at the slider in the dirt. 2 down in the top of the order coming up for the Blue Jays.
Well, Will Vest has great stuff. We talked about his numbers, but his fastball sits about 96 to 98 miles an hour with a lot of sink. He throws a lot of strikes. And then that slider also looks like a fastball, so Stefanik swings over the top of it.
1-1 game. 2 outs. Alejandro Kirk on first. We're in the bottom of the 8th. Pitch to Bo Bichette. Hit foul. 0-1. If you're wondering why they haven't brought in a runner for Alejandro Kirk, given the fact he's the go-ahead run, they wouldn't have another catcher. They brought Kirk in for Tyler Heineman, so Kirk has to stay in this game. Oh, 1. Just misses down and away with a slider. 1 ball, 1 strike.
And that's a big break for the Detroit Tigers. Alejandro Kirk probably wouldn't even score if a ball's hitting the gap.
Yeah, I would have to get the right hop. Next pitch, down and in. 2 balls and 1 strike. Bo Bichette is 1 for 3 today. He owned the only Blue Jay hit until a couple minutes ago. 2-1 pitch. Bounced third base side, foul. Still fielded by McKinstry. He'll flip it over the netting to the fans. It's 2-2. Bo Bichette with 4 home runs on the year, all of them coming May 3rd or later. 2-2. Check swing, pitch down and away, appeal to first, no swing. It's a full count. And now maybe you get a slightly better chance at scoring Kirk if there is a double. He's going to be off on the pitch with a full count and 2 outs. No longer a hold from Torkelson. He'll play behind the runner. The 3-2. Hit on the ground is second base. Picked up Colt Keith, throws over to first to end the inning. The Blue Jays tie it, though. Alejandro Kirk's pinch hit RBI single makes it a 1-1 game as we go to the 9th. Jeff Hoffman on next. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
There's a world where a new wave rolls.
What's up, baseball fans, Blue Jays fans? Thank you for hanging out with us yet again for another Blue Jays game. This series against the Detroit Tigers is going to be really, really tough. The Tigers are looking good this season. Our Jays are up and down like a yo-yo. Which Jays team will show up tonight or today? We'll see you back in the chat. Thank you for being here. Please hit that like button and share this link out. Let's build this Blue Jays community. We got a long summer ahead of us, Blue Jays fans. Let's have some fun and keep it classy in the chat. We're live all 162 Blue Jays games this season. And then every single game of the Major League Baseball playoffs. Now, we've got to get back to the baseball. Come on, Blue Jays. Let's get it going. I see you in the chat. Let's get the chant going. Let's go, Blue Jays. Let's go, Blue Jays. Go, Jays, go. Come on, let's get that excitement up here, ladies and gentlemen. Go, Blue Jays, go. Go, Insiders, go. Thank you for being here and making this community what it is.
Hey, from 9 to noon Eastern on SiriusXM Fight Nation, channel 156, and on the SiriusXM app.
The Blue Jays are in flight, leading 3-0.
Blue Jays fans, this is Ross Atkins, and you're listening to Blue Jays Baseball on Sirius XM
Radio Network.
Welcome back to downtown Toronto. 9th inning at Rogers Center. It's the Blue Jays 1 and the Tigers 1, thanks to Alejandro Kirk's pinch hit RBI single in the bottom of the 8th. Alongside Chris LaRue, I'm Ben Schulman. Kirk now behind the plate for the Blue Jays. And on the mound, a new pitcher, right-hander Jeff Hoffman is in, trying to keep this game 1-1. He faces the heart of the Tiger order, starting with the number 2 hitter, Gleyber Torres. Hoffman's pitch. Breaking ball misses down and away. Ball 1. Tough run over the last couple for Jeff Hoffman. That has his ERA above 6 in 19 1/3 innings pitched. 1-0. Low. Missed with a fastball. 2 balls, no strikes. 4 days ago was his last outing when he got roughed up against the Rays for 4 runs in a third of an inning. 2-0. Outside 3-0. While they gave him some days to get recalibrated, they have not backed off in terms of confidence from Jeff Hoffman. John Schneider sticking by him as their highest leverage reliever. 3-0 pitch. Inside ball 4. An ominous start to the top of the ninth. A 4-pitch walk.
Yeah, that's not a good sign. You could tell that he's being a little bit tentative in a 1-1 ball game with a power hitter up at the plate. But I mean, as a reliever, you have to have a short memory. I don't know if he does have a short memory. I don't know if he can still remember what happened 4 days ago. But you got to turn the page and you got to fill up that strike zone right now.
Go ahead run on first. Riley Green up to the plate. The pitch. Called strike. This pitching change for the Blue Jays brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays. Locally owned, genuinely Canadian. Green 0 for 3, 3 strikeouts so far, 2 of them swinging, 1 of them looking. Although all were against left-handed pitchers. Righty Hoffman deals, and that pitch is hit high in the air to left field. Ranging toward the corner, Nathan Lucas just in front of the track. He makes the catch, tosses it into second. Torres tagging, trying to advance. He got him! Nathan Lucas guns down the Tigers base runner, nabbing Torres at second. 2 outs, bases empty, and a point out for Hoffman, who he just helped out in a big way.
What a play from Nathan Lucas. He continues to impress out there with the arm, with the glove. A perfect throw from deep in that corner.
Detroit has decided to challenge. We just got to look. It looks pretty clear, although at the same time, it is the 9th inning. If you don't challenge now, when are you going to
Exactly.
challenge?
If I was A.J. Hinch, I would probably do the same thing. At least try to see what New York is thinking with this call. But it's a perfect throw, perfect tag. I don't see any reason to change this call.
Torres didn't tag initially, but saw how far Lucas went back, got to the bag. The only thing I'll say is on the replay, the initial swipe from Stefanik missed, but then he got him with his second movement. It's hard to tell, though, exactly what happened. What are you seeing, Chris?
Well, we haven't got a great angle yet, and I'm sure New York has a couple different angles than we have, but you're right. Stefanik missed him with the initial tag, and it looked like Torres might have gotten that right arm in there. This is a better view here. No, I think he's out.
I think he's out, too. He had to awkwardly swim his arm around, and that took some extra time. Call on the field is out, though, so it doesn't even matter if we think he's out. We just have to not think he's 100% safe.
After review, the call on the field stands. The runner is out.
What a play from Nathan Lucas, who didn't even have the room or time to run into that baseball. That was a standing throw after he made the catch, and he gets Torres. 2 outs, bases empty.
And how big is that for Jeff Hoffman, who's looked a little bit shaky in this inning so far, and now he looks up on that big board and sees 2 outs.
He'll face the very dangerous Kerry Carpenter. 2 outs, bases empty, 1-1 game, top of the 9th. The pitch. High, ball 1. This 9th inning is brought to you by New Pizza from Pizza Pizza. Get a huge 18-inch double XL 3-topping pizza for just $19.99. Bigger slices, bigger bites, only at Pizza Pizza. 1-0. Swing and a miss. That's the splitter he wants. Carpenter leaning forward. It's 1-1.
And I don't mind if you throw that again. You just have to get it down. That one caught a little bit too much of the plate, almost middle.
Right-handers set at the belt. And the 1-1. Swing and a miss. Got the sinker down below the knees, or pardon me, the splitter. It's 1-2.
That's the one right now. That's exactly what I was talking about. Make it look like a strike at the bottom of the strike zone, and then it just dove below that strike zone.
The 1-2. Poked over the mound. Charging in Bichette. The shortstop, gloves head high. Throws to first, and that will do it for the top of the ninth. With the help of Nathan Lucas, a scoreless inning for Jeff Hoffman, and the Blue Jays need one to win it, with Vladimir Guerrero Jr. leading off when we come back. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by the local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Not tomorrow, not someday. The home improvements begin today. It's game on with Timber Mart. Build that deck, raise that fence, landscape till your property is beautiful. Make no payments for 12 months with the Timber Mart Deferred Payment Program. Apply for a Timber Mart project card today and pay later, 12 months later. Financing provided by Fairstone Financial Inc. Conditions apply. Ask in-store for details or apply at timbermart.ca. Locally owned, proudly Canadian. Timber Mart is Canada's building center.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Racing back, Santander leaps at the wall, and he made the catch.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back to Blue Jays Baseball. Show Adley with you. The Blue Jays and Tigers tied at 1 as we head to the bottom of the ninth inning here at a raucous Rogers Center. Don't forget, we do have Jays Talk this evening. Jesse Rubinoff is here at the Rogers Center with me. He and I will take your calls and texts. We'll throw out the numbers for you to call after the final out. You can text us as well, 590-590, name and location. See some texts here already. So we'll read as many of your texts as possible once this game is in the books. The People's text line is always open. Blue Jays Baseball, as always, brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. This game is tied at 1, bottom 9 here at the Rogers Center. Here are Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue with the call.
Thank you very much, Joe. I imagine the tone of the texts and the calls and the show in general still very much up for grabs. It's a 1-1 game, bottom of the ninth. Blue Jays with a chance to walk it off. New pitcher is into the ball game. Brennan Hanafy deals to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. in a 1-1 game and misses outside. Ball 1. Pitching change is brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays. Locally owned, genuinely Canadian. Hanafy winds and offers. Chopper foul, third base side, 1-1.
Hanafy got away with one right there. That was a sinker right down the middle. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. just missed it.
Hanafy faced the Blue Jays yesterday, allowed a run on 2 hits in his inning of work. He gave up that long double to Barger. Righties 1-1. Called a strike, 1-2.
Don't look now, but Anthony Santander has a helmet on and has a bat in his hands in that dugout.
It's Guerrero, Varsho, Springer due up this inning for the Blue Jays. Perhaps he would hit after that. The 1-2 pitch. Down and away, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Guerrero has a walk today to extend his on-base streak to 18 games. Outside of that, he's 0 for 2. Game on the line. 2-2 pitch. Just outside at 98. That's a big league take, ball 3. Bearded righty Hanafy looking in, facing toward third base. Steps back, kicks, offers, and the 3-2 is bounced to the right side. Running snare by Colt Keith, the second baseman. Throws over to first for the out. That's an impressive play. Went a long way to catch that liner that was racing off the bat at 115 miles an hour.
Yeah, Colt Keith was shaded towards that second base bag, and it almost looked like Vladimir Guerrero Jr. was trying to shoot that big hole on the right side, and he almost did. Colt Keith came a long way to make that play.
So 1 out, bases empty, 1-1 game, bottom 9, and Dalton Varsho's up. Right on left, the pitch. Sailed to the backstop, ball 1. As Hanafy regroups, we remind you this copyrighted broadcast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership with the Sportsnet Radio Network. Next pitch, ripped down the right field line. Fair ball, bouncing up against the sidewall. Varsho around first. He's in his second with the double, and the winning run is aboard. This guy won't stop hitting. Dalton Varsho picks up a double, his second of the season.
Well, Hanifee left that changeup over the middle of the plate, and Dalton Varsho ripped that thing just fair down that right field line. 108 miles an hour off the bat. He continues to swing that bat very well.
A single to the outfield likely wins it. George Springer up 0 for 2 today with a walk. The pitch. Hit foul off to the right, 0-1. Anthony Santander is on deck for the Blue Jays. 1-1 game, bottom 9. 1 out in Varsho in scoring position. Hanifee sets, looks at second. And the 0-1. Hit on the ground, bounces off the mound, fielded by Keith deep. The second baseman throws to first. 2 outs. Varsho advances to third. And now the baton is passed to Anthony Santander.
And how big would this be for Anthony Santander, for Anthony Santander's confidence, if he can come through with 2 outs in the 9th inning and the winning run at third base?
Truthfully, did not expect him to feature into this game. Shoulder has still been cranky, the words of John Schneider, plus yesterday his hip was a little bit sore, left hip impingement, but they bring him in here with the game on the line.
I bet his shoulder will be a little less cranky if he can get a base hit here.
Absolutely.
And he won't get a chance.
Just boosts the on-base percentage as they intentionally walk Santander and instead put it in the hands of Ernie Clement. First and third, 2 down, 1-1 game, bottom of the 9th. The pitch to Clement. Santander jogs to second, and it's called a strike. Santander will move up there to eliminate a force. 0-1. So second and third now, 2 down. 0-1 pitch. Line, right field, base hit! Blue Jays win! Ernie Clement is the hero today as he drives in Dalton Varsho, and the Blue Jays, who trailed in the 8th, beat baseball's best team with a walk-off single in the 9th.
Well, how great of a base hit was that? A big hole on the right side. Ernie Clement drills that thing through that big hole for a huge win, a huge RBI. But how often does that happen? You intentionally walk a big power hitter to face a guy like Ernie Clement, and he comes through with a huge knock.
A massive victory for the Blue Jays as they beat maybe the best team in baseball and even up the series 2-1, the final score. We'll step aside, wrap it up when we come back, get you over to Blue Jays Talk with Show Ali and Jesse Rubinoff. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
If you're looking for a fun day, did you know the day before Monday? Junior J Sunday. You can paint your face, come and meet Ace and run base to base. On Junior J Sunday. So many things to do. You could bring your crew and even mom and dad too. Junior J Sunday.
Lights up, let's go to Junior J Sundays. It's family fun throughout the ballpark with games and activities that your squad will never forget.
Feeling the song, grab your dad or mom, visit BlueJays.com. Junior J Sunday.
Buck Martinez here to tell you about the huge Double XL free topping pizza from Pizza Pizza, just $19.99. That's a whopping 18-inch 3-topping thing of beauty for only $19.99. So hurry into Pizza Pizza today and bring a big appetite for a hot and fresh Double XL pizza. I'm loving this big voice. I may just call the game this way.
Go to pizzapizza.ca. This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
In time! What a play, Bo Bichette!
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back to Rogers Center. In downtown Toronto, the Blue Jays victorious today. They snatched victory from the jaws of defeat, trailing pretty much the entire day. They pick up the win 2-1. Alongside Chris LaRue, I'm Ben Schulman. We're going to get to the big moment in a sec, but Chris, let's go to the start of this game. Reese Olson against an Eric Lauer-led bullpen day for the Blue Jays. And I think both sides' pitching coaches are going to be pretty satisfied with how it went.
Well, I'll tell you this much. As good as Reese Olson was, I feel like the Blue Jays pitched him, or so he matched him pitch for pitch. I mean, Eric Lauer only went 3 innings, but how about Yariel Rodriguez? We talked about him during the broadcast. He's very quietly, very slowly earning the trust of John Schneider, and he's kind of building a reputation right now of being a solid guy out of that Blue Jays bullpen. His ERA is now 3.5. And then you have Brendan Little, Chad Green was really good, Jimmy Garcia, and most importantly, in my opinion, Jeff Hoffman pitched a clean inning. Hopefully that confidence is a little better now, and he can come out in his next game and fill up that strike zone.
After Eric Lauer, who gave up 1 run on a solo homer in the second, the Blue Jays relievers combined for 6 shutout innings. They allowed 1 hit in those 6 innings against an offense that today came in second in the American League in runs to the New York Yankees. The only problem was, for most of the day, the Blue Jays didn't come up with a hit, but the heroics started for Toronto in the 8th inning. Ernie Clement, who we'll talk about a little bit more later, had a leadoff walk. Good bunt from Nathan Lucas. Alejandro Kirk with a pinch hit RBI single. That's pure fundamental small ball baseball, Chris.
Yeah, and I love small ball baseball. I love moving a guy over with a hit to the right side. I love sack bunting, all those things. And John Schneider and I seem to differ on that opinion, but the Blue Jays did such a good job of coming to the plate against really tough relievers out of that Tigers bullpen, guys that are high velocity, high spin rate. And like you said, Ernie Clement with a huge knock in this ball game, and really a big knock in this season. This was as must win as it gets for May, I think, especially with the San Diego Padres coming into town in just a couple of days. A huge win for the Toronto Blue Jays.
Well, let's get to it. You had mentioned, so Ernie Clement's going to factor in later. The Blue Jays tie the game at 1-1. Jeff Hoffman pitches a scoreless top of the ninth. Huge credit to Nathan Lucas, by the way, who caught a fly ball in the left field corner and then threw out Gleyber Torres, trying to tag from first to second for a double play. Blue Jays get a 1-out double from Dalton Varsho, who's still outstanding at the plate so far in terms of hitting for power, but a pair of ground outs around it. It's 2 outs, and Varsho's on third. They bring in Anthony Santander to pinch hit. A.J. Hinch, looking at the track record of Santander, decides to intentionally walk him. Ernie Clement comes up to the plate, and here is today's play of the game. So second and third now, 2 down. 0-1 pitch. Line, right field, base hit! Blue Jays win! Ernie Clement is the hero today as he drives in Dalton Varsho, and the Blue Jays, who trailed in the 8th, beat baseball's best team with a walk-off single in the 9th.
I think a lot of people might ask themselves, why are you walking a guy that's hitting 187 to face a scrappy hitter like Ernie Clement, who puts the ball in play, is able to find the hole? And I don't dislike the move. I probably would have done the same thing if I was in that Tigers dugout. But you have to remember, it's really difficult to face a guy that puts the bat on the ball, finds the hole in a big situation like that. And Ernie Clement executed that to perfection. There was a huge hole on the right side of the infield, and you could tell he was trying to go that way, trying to shoot that hole. What a big win for them.
Ernie Clement, from having to play first base for a lot of today to fouling a ball off of his knee, and it looked like nearly exiting the game, to being the guy who scores in the 8th to tie it and comes up with the single in the 9th to win it. He is the hero today as the Blue Jays defeat the Tigers 2-1. 1 run on 4 hits for Detroit, no errors, 3 left. 2 runs, 4 hits for Toronto, no errors, 5 left. A win for Jeff Hoffman, who locked it down in the top of the 9th. 4-2 is his record. Brendan Hanafy came in the 9th, picks up his first loss of the year. He's 2-1. No save in a game that took 2 hours and 23 minutes in front of over 40,000, many of them in pink, Barbie shirts today. The Blue Jays pick up the win. They are now 22-23. The Tigers 30-16. That sets up an entertaining rubber match tomorrow. We have the veteran Jose Barrios making a start against rookie Jackson Jobe. First pitch at 1:37 Eastern. Hope you can join us then, and appreciate you tuning in today. For our technical directors, Tom Young and Christian Chiniti, our host, Show Ali, our producer, Nick Blackmore, and my partner, Chris LaRue, I'm Ben Schulman. Have a great rest of your day. Stick around, get your calls and texts in. A winning edition of Blue Jays Talk with Show Ali and Jesse Rubinoff starts right now.
To this game after the offense was shut down for much of this ballgame.
If you like pitching, this game is for you. Let's be honest. There was not a lot going on in that baseball game through 8 innings, or 7.5.
Let's say 7.5.
7.5. Great pitching performances on both sides, and they did it differently, too. Like Detroit, Olsen stays in there for a good chunk of the game. The Blue Jays bullpen picks up Eric Lauer after he did a good job through 3 innings. 6 innings of one-hit ball for the Toronto Blue Jays bullpen. That's exactly what you want from your team. You give your offense a chance to get off the schneid, and that they did. Alejandro Kirk coming up with a big hit, tying run, comes off the bench cold. And the guy is on a pretty good heater at the moment. And then obviously Ernie Clement, after taking that swinging strike ball off his knee. Tough situation for him, but he stays in the game, guts it out, and the Blue Jays able to walk it off.
Ernie Clement, the hero. Can't ignore the pitching, certainly. They held it down. You're listening to Jays Talk. Show Ali and Jesse Rubinoff with you. We're live on the Sportsnet Radio Network. We're also streaming on sportsnet.ca and on the Sportsnet app. You can give us a call. 416-870-0590, 1-888-666-0590, star 590 on your cell. You can text us as well. 590-590, name and location. The People's Text line is always open. Standard messaging and data rates may apply. I know you haven't seen Barbie, but it was Barbie game day today, so I guess you could say Ernie Clement was Knuff in the end. But again, I know that it doesn't go as far with you, unfortunately. I think literally everyone else I've done Jays Talk with has all seen Barbie, so you need to catch up here, Jesse.
Yeah, I mean, I got to get it done because
you've been
talking it up all day.
You know, I feel like it's harder for you to watch movies.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Movies are still in the cars. He goes down early, so it's all good.
Well, you mentioned Alejandro Kirk, a clutch pinch hit RBI single to tie the game. Nathan Lucas, can't ignore what he did. A great grab when Jeff Hoffman was in top of the 9th inning, and then a throw to gun down Gleyber Torres at second base in the top of the 9th for essentially a double play. Hoffman gets helped out there. He looked good, all things considered, especially after the leadoff walk. He gets the win. Dalton Varsho clubbing a double in the bottom of the 9th inning. Anthony Santander coming off the bench despite the hip and shoulder injuries.
Surprising.
He gets walked. And I got to say, I mean, I kind of thought if they didn't win this game, I kind of thought what we would talk about would be, and I guess we'll still talk about it at some point, but I kind of thought one of the biggest storylines of this game would be John Schneider lifting Addison Barger for Miles Straw a little bit earlier in this game, I should say, in the pinch hit situation, because I admit my first read on that was I did not like it, if I'm being completely honest, and that's not a knock on Miles Straw, it's more of a testament to how good Addison Barger has been.
We talked about Barger the entire pregame.
Exactly. We had a lot of good stuff to say about Barger, and I'm betting the fans do as well. But it's kind of interesting because I almost feel like, despite that, the greater mistake made today was probably made by A.J. Hinch in the bottom of the 9th inning when he intentionally walked Anthony Santander. I feel like knowing that Ernie Clement's strength is just putting the ball in play, you have a runner on third base. I mean, wouldn't you rather take your chances with Anthony Santander, who, in addition to clearly being injured, was just not swinging the bat really well? I mean, that I think, for Tigers talk, I think that's going to be the big storyline today.
I think you're bang on. I know Ben and Chris were just talking about it, and Chris said he didn't mind the move, and I guess it's defensible in A.J. Hinch's case because Santander has a longer track record of success at the major league level than Ernie Clement, but he's also batting 80 points lower than Ernie Clement. And we spent time in the pregame show talking about Ernie Clement and why he's still in the Blue Jays lineup for that specific reason. It's because he puts the ball in play in his bat-to-ball skills. So, yeah, walking Santander in that spot, given the fact that he's batting 187 on the year, given the fact that he's banged up and nobody thought he was even going to feature at all in this game, comes in, he's cold, you don't really know what you're going to get from him. He's been struggling all year, and yet they elect to walk him. and bring in a guy who's, you said it, his strength is bat to ball. So confusing move from A.J. Hinch. I think still defensible, but nonetheless the Blue Jays will take it because Ernie Clement goes opposite field and walks off the Detroit Tigers, the best team in baseball.
590, name and location. That's the People's Text line. I'm going to read some text here, but still some time to give us a call. We'll be on for a while. 416-870-0590, 1-888-666-0590, star 590 on your cell. Shane in Brockville, thank A.J. Hinch for this win. He should have left Olsen in. First of all, he was dealing. We are brutal with the bats. No business winning this game. I mean, it definitely feels like they stole some things here because to Shane's point about how the bats looked against Reese Olsen, I mean, They just really didn't have a lot going against Reese Olsen for much of this game. I mean, this team got a 12-pitch AB from Tyler Heineman in the bottom of the third inning. I think around that point after Heineman took the walk, before the next couple of batters, Olsen was around like 41, 42 pitches. I think he finished the third pretty quickly after that, like 45, 46 pitches. Let's call it 46 pitches. By the time Bo Bichette is called for going around to end the top of the seventh, he had gotten to 85 pitches, and at that point had retired 11 Blue Jays batters in a row. So he just didn't throw a lot of pitches today beyond the third inning. And yeah, I mean, he didn't work a lot. Having said that, I think you do have to give some credit to the opposing pitchers when they look that good, because I mean, the 85-mile-an-hour changeup sequenced with the 85-mile-an-hour slider sequenced with a 95-mile-an-hour fastball, and all of them looked like they were coming out of his hand.
Oh, he's nasty.
Pretty much at the exact same point. So I can kind of, to a certain extent, he is a good pitcher. It's not like some random guy. He is a good pitcher, so I can understand them struggling. But boy, I mean, Alejandro Kirk's pinch hit RBI single was the second hit of the game for the Toronto Blue Jays, and it came in the bottom of the eighth inning. Like, we'll talk about Kirk, certainly, but I do think still, despite this result, you still want to see them be just a little more consistent with the bats. So I do think consistency, that was the big word we used in the pregame show, and I still think you could stand to see them find it a little more regularly, I guess you could say.
Yeah, really, Olsen didn't have to deal with very many difficult at-bats either. Like, the whole game, it felt like he was on cruise control. And you mentioned it, 85 pitches for Olsen on this day. He's got an ERA now under 3, by the way. But he was yanked going to the bottom of the seventh. And I guess you can make the case that it's Vladdy, Varsho, and Springer coming up. So the meat of the Blue Jays order. And A.J. Hinch is thinking, all right, maybe we don't want him to face the heart of the Blue Jays order. Once again, he's already done a pretty good job to that point of shutting them down. Maybe it's time to go to the bullpen, give a little bit of a different look. And ultimately, for a while there, it worked up until Alejandro Kirk was able to come in cold off the bench. He just continues to do so well with 2 strikes. He's now batting an AL best 324 on the season, an American League best 324 on the season with 2 strikes. You talk about how the Blue Jays had a lot of easy at-bats today. Alejandro Kirk is not giving you very many comfortable outs at the moment. Everything seems like he's getting the bat on the ball, fouling it off until he gets his pitch, and then drives it. And it's really nice to see. The one thing about that particular at-bat that was a little bit strange, I mean, he buried it into the corner pretty much. And he's obviously not the most fleet of foot at the best of times, but he didn't really make any play for second at all. And I was just curious as to maybe there's something deeper there as to why he wasn't in the starting lineup. I know it makes sense for him to get a blow every now and then, but he really wasn't making much of an effort to get to second at all. I found that to be a little bit concerning, but nonetheless, he comes up big in a big spot.
It was Stefanik who came up to the plate after Kirk, and it was interesting because he struck out. It was Bo who was the final out, and Bo grounded out. And when Bo came up and Kirk was still standing at first base, and I thought when Bo swung the bat, you would at least think that Kirk would go. He would take off running, and he didn't. And that's not a criticism of Kirk. It's just I actually had the same thought because even when he was running off the field after the inning ended, he kind of looked like he was running a little gingerly. Yeah. So I wonder if he's just dealing with something. I wonder
cold coming off the bench.
I'm certain that is at least a part of it because I still think this is true, Jesse. I genuinely believe one of the hardest things you will ask a position player to do. And I mean, it's not like they're not going to war. Like they're just in the context of them being paid millions of dollars and being baseball players. Certainly is what we're saying with this. But I still think one of the hardest things you'll ask these guys to do is pinch hit, because they've been cold all game. I think in Santander's case, Chris mentioned this. It was a great observation by him. I mean, he was clearly sweating, so he was probably like taking some hacks in the batting cage, which is just underneath the dugout there, underneath the seats. So maybe Kirk was doing the same thing, but it was just. I'm certain he was, at least for a little bit, but it was just. It's one of the harder things you'll see them do.
You're totally right.
And he is so good at it. I mean, there's something even in times where he struggled in the last couple of years. After 2022, I still think that's something he's been like all right at, and you add in him the batting with 2 strikes. I'm totally with you. I don't think it's hyperbolic. Before we go to the phones, I don't think it's hyperbolic to say that, considering the team in the other dugout, Jays are below 500. They're well above 500. American League, you want to keep pace with the teams in your division and in the wild card race. Considering everything that had gone on in this game in a more micro sense, I think that might actually be maybe one of the best, if not the best, AB a single player has taken this so far this season, and I guess now 45 games.
Yeah. I don't have any disagreement with that at all. Like, his ability to just continue to make the pitcher work is something that doesn't happen very often throughout this Blue Jays lineup. And he struggled to start the season. There's no doubt. He was slow out of the gate. But he's starting to really come around now. And when you look at the Blue Jays lineup, I think there was a time where you would see his name and it wouldn't really strike fear in the minds of the opposing pitcher. And now you're starting to get to a situation where you actually have to think about Alejandro Kirk again. Yeah. And it's not just, okay, we have to worry about Vladdy, Bo, and I guess Varsho, because he's on a world-class heater himself. But now you start to get a little bit deeper in your lineup, and I know that it wasn't today, but I think that will bear fruit in the long run.
416-870-0590, 1-888-666-0590, star 590 on your cell. We'll go back to the text line in a sec, 590-590, name and location. But first, let's go to the phones. Let's go out west to Regina. Brendan in Regina joining us here on Jays Talk. Brendan, what's up?
Gentlemen, how are you?
Good, man. Always fun when you get a walk-off win, right?
Not as spicy after a loss for the call-in show, but a lot more fun after a win. Question. My brother-in-law brought this up, and I never even thought about it. Who would you rather have at the plate in a clutch situation, Ernie Clement or Aaron Judge?
Ooh. Okay, look, I will still take Aaron Judge, but mainly because of everything else he could do. But I do understand the question because, boy, Judge, especially recently, he has been real brutal. I didn't catch the whole game, Brendan, but I'm pretty sure today's edition of the Subway Series ended with Edwin Diaz striking out Aaron Judge to make him go 0 for 5, I believe, right?
I didn't even know that. Honestly, that had no bearing on my question.
Okay,
so there you go. That adds to the debate.
Well, what do you think? Well, what would you do?
I'm feeling really good about Ernie, so I'll say Ernie Clement.
All right. We appreciate the call, Brendan. Thanks for joining us here on Jays Talk. I mean, look, I do understand the impetus for the question, right? Because even if you go back to the World Series run last season, I think a lot of people were asking, hey, like, where are you going to get, like, the Mr. Fall, Mr. October, Mr. November moment from Aaron Judge? And it kind of felt like it didn't really come. And there have been a number of moments in which he has hit massive, towering missiles into the seats, like not cheap Yankee Stadium specials, but absolute bombs, but not in necessarily the most clutch situation. So I can understand the impetus, but at the same time, I'm taking Aaron Judge like 11 out of 10 times.
Yeah, it's almost too early still in Aaron Judge's career to rank him as a non-clutch player. Like, he doesn't have the clutch gene. Like, remember that was the thing for LeBron for the longest time?
Right.
Like, Aaron Judge's moments will come because he's such a prolific player, and when he's batting close to 400 for so long into the season, I mean, he's just that good. So, yeah, the answer, I think, is obvious, but it doesn't take anything away from Ernie Clement.
No, not at all.
Today, because, again, like we talked about, I just talked about Kirk and the fact that he's giving you now 280, his average is up to on the season. Ernie Clement batting 267 on the year, and you start to see some of these other guys, their numbers creep up a bit, and suddenly you go up and down the lineup, and you're thinking, well, if the power can start to come from Vladdy and Bo, and you have these guys like Kirk and Clement, where you know the power is unlikely to come, but they can still get on base in some fashion, then that becomes a lot more meaningful, and the Blue Jays lineup will be a lot more dangerous moving forward than it's proven to be to this point of the season.
590, name and location. Nope, this one's about Austin Matthews. I mean, he was good last night, but he did not play today, so we can go to a different text.
He was so good last night.
590, name and location. Mikey in Victoria. Mike says, I was happy when they walked Santander, thinking Ernie Clement was batting 100 points higher, had a better chance of any kind of hit.
Agreed.
And yeah, we talked about it. Yeah, I mean, it was a bit of a mystifying decision. You know, it's funny. I was going to bring up this text from the pregame show, and I'm glad Johnny texted back. So Johnny from Cape Breton had texted us during the pregame show. One thing every winning team has is production from the bottom of the lineup. And that was around, the game started at 3:07 today. This is around 2:30, so half an hour before our first pitch. He just texted back to say, how about those bottom of those lineups, eh? Yeah, I mean, it's true. The Blue Jays, and again, I think you and I were talking about this in the pregame show, which is what precipitated Johnny's question, but ultimately, you know, you'd gotten some production out of Miles Straw. You had gotten some production out of Nathan Lucas, Addison Barger when he had been hitting a little lower in the lineup. Ernie Clement still batting a little lower in the lineup, even lower, certainly. Andres Jimenez, before he got injured, was looking a little better in the 9-hole, right? You had been getting some production out of your 9-hole hitters, but, I mean, they all, especially Lucas and Heineman, Stefanik too, they all had some decent ABs, and they pretty much all helped out in critical situations today on the field as well when it comes to fielding as well.
Yeah, I think when I looked at the lineup at the beginning of the year, I thought the issue was going to be the bottom half of the order. Like, I thought there was no question that you would get the regular contribution. Bichette coming off the difficult year last year, and you figured, well, he's going to get back to his career norms, potentially a bounce back from Springer. Varsho's healthy. You know he's going to get 20-plus home runs on the year. And Vladdy, you just hope that it would come throughout the 162 as opposed to just the second half of the season. And the question mark was, who's going to step up? Like, you know that Kirky, after he signed the contract, he was going to be a mainstay in the lineup. But who's going to step up between Barger and Ernie and Nathan Lucas, and it was Alan Roden at the beginning. And the luxury that you have, that even though you might not think those guys are great players, the fact that you have options. Mm-hmm. What you can do then is utilize those guys when they're really starting to feel it, because you give them the opportunity when the hot streak is there, and then when they cool off a little bit, there's an opportunity to go to the next guy.
Right.
Because if there's not that much separation, I mean, you hope that there's separation eventually over the course of 162, but if they're all kind of clustered together in terms of where their talent is, I think you can start to take advantage of when they're hot. That's why Barger continues to see himself in the lineup, and I think that if Ernie can start to cook a little bit here, he's going to remain in the lineup for the foreseeable future as well. It just makes the Blue Jays that much more dangerous, and frankly, it's exciting to see because the offense has struggled for so long. Yes, struggled today, but a win is a win, and there's a lot of positive momentum going into tomorrow.
Nicole in Ottawa on the text line saying, hey, Show and Jesse, I know we like to poo-poo good defense for being boring, but those outfield assists are fun. I love that double play from Lucas in the ninth. Absolutely. I mean, we talked about it a little bit off the top, but that was a great play. I mean, you can't take anything away from Nathan Lucas, and it's funny, the ball kind of just went out of our sight here in the booth, like just out there in deep left field. It actually was so deep, I thought he was going to not hit a home run, but I thought it was going to go foul, honestly, because it was so close to the foul line. It just stayed fair. They're just actually showing a replay of it right now on the Sportsnet TV feeds, and he guns down Gleyber Torres. By the way, a second straight day where Gleyber Torres makes an ill-advised base advancing, base stealing move, whatever you want to call it, but I don't know. That was as much of a poor decision that was by Torres, who did not tag initially, and then he had to go back and tag once he saw where the ball landed for Lucas. Still, a throw right on the money. And Stefanik, he missed the tag
the
initially,
original one, yeah.
And he still got it down on Torres, and A.J. Hinch and the Tigers did challenge. But to Nicole's point, I was very impressed.
Well, that tells you everything you need to know about the throw. The fact that it was there in that much time that Stefanik could miss the original tag and still get Torres. Also, Lucas he wasn't running into that ball when he caught it either. That was almost from a standstill to be able to gun him out like that. So super impressive. You know, when Barger's out there at third or in the outfield, you see his gun, he gets to showcase that. Nathan Lucas, essentially from a standstill, comes up with a massive play. And obviously on a day where there's not much to cheer about, that gave the fans in the Rogers Center a lot to get excited about. So a great play from Nathan Lucas. And that's the kind of thing that I mean. It's like when these guys are getting opportunities, you have to find a way to take advantage.
Yeah.
Prove your worth at the major league level. And it doesn't always have to come with the bat. In Nathan Lucas' case today, it comes with the arm, and he did a darn good job of it.
I do think, and we talked about this before, but especially with Dalton Varsho, who again had another great play today, the double in the ninth to help set up the eventual game when he scored the game-winning run with his feet. And then you can see him curl out from behind home plate and go just absolutely tackle Ernie Clement in between first and second, which was really cool. But it's interesting because with Varsho back in the lineup, it essentially means playing time for Miles Straw and Nathan Lucas is like there's that much less playing time. Because before Varsho came back, when he was still on the shelf on the IL, you could essentially on any given game without Varsho when he's still on the IL, you could play one, if not both of those guys, especially when before Class A was called up, Roden struggling a little bit, and those guys obviously, Roden obviously down in the minors, but you could play both of those guys and have and with Springer in right field, you could have a very good defensive outfield with both of those two out there. And they've had less playing time recently, so for them to still be able to impact games, Miles Straw a little less so today, of course, but it's pretty impressive to see because you got to think for a lot of these guys, playing time helps you get in rhythm, and when you're not getting a lot of playing time, I got to think it's that much harder to make any kind of impact, but also just to keep yourself ready to play in these ball games, essentially.
Yeah, the Straw and Nathan Lucas thing is interesting because with Miles Straw, I think he's more of a known commodity at this point of his career, and I understand too that Lucas is 30 years old, so it's not that he's an unknown commodity, but you want to see what he can do given the opportunity. And when you have a guy like that, I think you have to give him every opportunity to show you what he can do. Miles Straw is serviceable. He's shown you at the major league level that when you need him to, he can get it done. But there's just not a whole heck of a lot there that I would necessarily be willing to sacrifice playing time for a guy like Nathan Lucas when he also can show you what he can do. And there's times where he's managed to go on stretches where he hits at a pretty healthy level at the major league level. So let's see what Nathan Lucas can do and give these guys more reps.
416-870-0590, 1-888-666-0590, star 590 on your cell. Let's go back to the phones. Let's go to Ryan in Innisfil. Ryan, welcome to Jays Talk. What's up, man?
How's it going, guys?
Oh, it's going well, man. What's up? What's on your mind?
Good. All right, before I become negative, I'll just say great win today against a great team. Awesome. I love it. Go Jays, go. So you guys were having a clutch conversation before about Mr. Aaron Judge. I wanted to call immediately as soon as I heard that because I wanted to talk about the clutch factor with Vladimir Guerrero Jr., or shall I say the non-existent clutch factor with Vladimir Guerrero Jr. I'm very happy that we signed the guy, but at the same time, this has got to turn around. He has got to become a better player. I don't care if your average drops 20 points. You need to hit home runs, dude. You need to be clutch. You need to be that guy. Like, there's no excuse. Dalton Varsho's been here for 14 games and leads the team in home runs. What's the excuse? I don't want to hear slow start. I don't want to hear any of that stuff. It's such a poor excuse, especially when you're getting paid money that no one's ever even heard of in baseball. It's got to turn around. It's got to become better. I'm curious if you guys think it will become better or if it'll stay the same old same. A pattern I've noticed with Vladdy is if we're 10 games under 500, he's the best player on planet Earth. If we're down 8 runs, he's Barry Bonds. If it matters, he will strike out, ground ball into a double play, 114 miles per hour off the bat, 3 feet in front of him. Like, that's got to change. And what also has to change, in my opinion, there needs to be a massive shakeup in the lineup. Don't get me wrong. This is a good team. This is a good lineup. I thought we wanted to be a great team, and I thought we wanted a great lineup. We need to take that extra step.
What would you change lineup-wise, Ryan?
Well, are you going to sign Bo Bichette? Are we going to bring him back? If not, he is absolutely racing. Trade him for power. Find power somewhere. There's tons of power in this league, and 1,000 teams. Every team would take Bo Bichette. And I'm not saying I want to get rid of him. I love him. But you have to make those moves. Like when the Raptors gave up DeMar DeRozan, I cried. We won a championship out of it. We got rid of someone who meant something to the city to better the team. You have to take those chances. It can't just be calculated, money ball, khaki sort of baloney. I was going to say something else. I caught myself. But
good job.
It needs to change, man. What I would do, I would look at boat trades. I would entertain that. If you're not thinking of bringing Varsho back, and you don't think you're going to get him on a good deal, which I think we could get him for under 10, maybe even $11 million. Who knows? But if you're not going to do that, that's a trade piece. We have, I wouldn't say tons of pitching that we could trade, but Gosson's getting a little bit older. Maybe you can get something as far as a bat from him from a playoff team. Chris Bassett, is he coming back next year? He's absolutely carving right now. I'm sure there's at least 20 teams that would use his service. There's lots of things that they can do. It's baffling to me that they're not doing anything and just being fine with the way it's going right now.
Hey, Ryan, appreciate the call as always, man. Thanks for joining us, and I appreciate you keeping it clean.
Holding back.
Very close there.
Very impressive.
But I do appreciate it. Look, I'll say this for the trade deadline. I do think because it's May 17th, the deadline's the end of July? So we've heard, and I know people are loath to take Atkins at his word, but I generally do think this is true, that if you try to make trades now, the reason you don't see a lot of trades now is typically because the asking price is astronomical. And I think the closer you get to the deadline, where you have a better idea of what your team is, but also in conjunction with that, a better idea of what a lot of teams are. You kind of know who's a real contender, or at least who has a chance of making it to the wild card. And I know the idea is also the goal should not be to merely be satisfied with squeaking into the third wild card. I totally understand that, right? You should be aiming for the division, which again is actually very possible this year. But the point is valid, that you should be doing more at a bigger, higher level. I totally understand that. I don't think you're going to see any massive trades until a little closer to the deadline, if only because I think the asking prices are just absolutely through the roof. To Ryan's comparison with the Raptors, yeah, I mean, gosh, I remember I was actually working. I was in the Sportsnet newsroom on the upstairs, Jesse. You usually toil away in the bottom newsroom. I was on the third floor newsroom.
Yeah.
But I'm imagining the reactions were very similar when the Grange tweet came out at 7 o'clock in the morning in the middle of a sleepy July day that the Raptors had.
I was at work too. Yeah, that's right.
Gosh, what a reaction that was in a barely there newsroom. But
everyone thought it was fake.
Yeah, I also thought it was fake. I remember I was sitting next to the assignment desk, and I remember the assignment had to call Grange and be like, "Is this real? Is this you, or is this a fake account?" But I think the problem with making that comparison, the one-for-one comparison, is simply that in basketball, someone like a Kawhi Leonard can affect the 5 people on a court so much differently than even Bo Bichette or Vladimir Guerrero Jr. could. I mean, how many times have Blair and Barker talked and gone on and on about, the Angels had a healthy Mike Trout for a while and Shohei Ohtani, and they didn't do squat, right? That's a conversation the example we always point to. But I do understand Ryan's point in that something has got to change if you want a higher ceiling. Now, again, I mean, they won today 2-1, but when you don't get your second hit of the game until the 8th inning, it does perhaps underline the point that you do still need a little more pop to help you be more consistent.
I thought it was an excellent call. I think the Vladdy point is a good one. You want to see more power out of him. There's no question. And I made the point in the pregame show as well. Mm-hmm. It often is in the second half of the season where he really starts to cook. You would like to see him get out of the gates a little bit stronger with the power. There's no doubt about it. If you sacrifice maybe 10, 15 points in the batting average, but he had 5 more home runs at this point, I think that would do wonders for the Blue Jays offense. You look at who the home run leaders are in the major leagues, all the big names, all the guys that make a ton of money are up near the top of that list. Aaron Judge, Shohei Ohtani, Juan Soto is having a down year and he's up there. There's a reason the guy gets paid $500 million. It's not just to hit 290. It's also to hit 35, 40 home runs at least in any given year, and he's not trending in that direction at the moment. That being said, when it comes to the power conversation, it's very easy to be critical of the front office and the fact that they haven't really made the offense that much better over the course of their tenure. However, they did go out and get Anthony Santander in the offseason, and the expectation is not that he's hitting 187 on the year, banged up, not playing over the last couple of games. You would hope that a guy who hit 40-plus home runs a year ago would be a more meaningful contributor at this point of the season, but that has yet to work out. In a perfect world, you get more power from him, He's shown he can do it multiple seasons in his career. You get a little bit more from Vladdy. You've seen Varsho come back. He has 6 home runs in 13 games and continues to be a contributor. So it's not like they don't have the offense. It just hasn't come together yet. It's not even June. I think if Santander comes back and continues to struggle, that's when you have to look seriously at whether you can find a way to add another bat or 2 to the lineup. But as of now, they made the investment in the offseason. It just hasn't worked out yet.
And I think with Vladdy, too, I mean, after today's game, he went 0 for 3 with a walk, which, again, you want more from him in that regard. But he's batting .287, and I believe with the walk extends his on-base streak. And again, that is hits, walks, whatever, right? He got by hook or by crook, he gets on base to 18 games. So I think in a vacuum, if you were like, hey, player X has gotten on base 18 straight games with a couple of home runs sprinkled in there. He's at or near the top of the team lead in RBI, and he's batting .287. I think if you were like, player X has done that, amazing. Like, what a result. You take that 11 out of 10 times. But if you suddenly replace player X with Vladimir Guerrero Jr., you think to yourself, you know what? Like, I just want a little bit more. And I think to Ryan's point, too, about the contract. I mean, the contract doesn't kick in until next year. But either way, they're committed to him for $500 million in 14 years. I mean, it might not be fair, but I do think that contract will carry permanently higher expectations going forward.
Well, he's screwed. Can I tell you why he's screwed? Anytime the offense struggles and he doesn't respond by carrying the offense, he's going to be a lightning rod for the next 14 years.
Pretty much.
Anytime the offense struggles, you're going to look at Vladdy and say, what's Vladdy doing? How many home runs does Vladdy have? What's his OPS? Yeah. And at the moment, when their offense has been struggling, albeit they're trending in the right direction with the exception of today, you look at him and say, well, he's got 5 home runs on the year. And that's not enough. You need to see more. And that's an unfortunate reality for Vladimir Guerrero Jr. I'm sure he'll be fine. I'm sure it's not going to affect him in any way. But it's a reality with this fan base and with the analysis that when an offense is struggling, you look to the best player. Yeah. And when they're struggling, particularly with power, you're going to look at him and say, how many home runs does he have?
416-870-0590, 1-888-660-0590, star 590 on your cell. Let's go back to the phones before we take a quick break. Let's go to Adam in Thornhill. Adam, welcome to Jays Talk. What's on your mind?
Boys, how are you?
Good, man. Always
thanks
fun.
For having me.
Yeah, thanks for calling in, man. What's on your mind?
I tried to call before during the Angels series, the late night blowout, which is my favorite time to call.
It's true.
When I can time it, but. I haven't talked to you since before, I think it was about a day or two before they signed Vladdy.
I think you're right.
I think that was the last time I talked to you. Then they ended up getting it done. I was quite surprised by it. But now that I'm, I have 50% less heart palpitations than I did before, and it'll be completed when and if they sign Bo Bichette. So to the last caller's point, I would not be I don't see the equivalency of the DeMar DeRozan for Kawhi Leonard situation, because basketball, one player and you can make a whole difference. Baseball, it's completely different. Second of all, the hit tool is the most important tool out of when we talk about a 5-tool player. Bo Bichette has it, and it's elite. And I don't think we necessarily appreciate in this city exactly who he is or what he does. This is a guy who's led the American League in hits twice. This is a guy who, again, if you extrapolate his numbers over the course of a full-length career of 15, 20 years, this is a potential Hall of Famer. It doesn't seem like saying that right now makes like, oh, come on, what is this guy talking about? He's not there yet, obviously, because he's still very, very young. This is a guy who just turned 27, and the prime years in baseball are 27 to 32. That's when most people have the greatest success. Guerrero just turned 26. These guys are young. Okay? And when we talk about all these people like Ernie Clement and Nathan Lukes is going to be 31. Spent his whole career in the minors. Ernie Clement's going to be 30 or 31. So they're not the youth movement just because we've never heard of them until before last year. I mean, it's ridiculous to compare the two. They need to sign Bo. I have a number in mind, but I don't know if you have time for that.
Yeah, go ahead.
I compare him to the Trey Turner contract. This is an offensive player who has power and speed in the hit tool, but maybe not necessarily considered one of the elite defenders in baseball. And I look at the age when Turner signed. I believe he was about 29 when he signed, and Bichette's about 27. So if you can get Bichette for, say, 11 and 27 a year, because the range of the AAV, what it's going to be somewhere between 24 and 34. Lindor is the highest paid shortstop AAV-wise at 34.1. So Bo's probably going to fall somewhere into there. So I compare him to Trey Turner. I don't think that's a bad comp, and I think that's roughly what it's going to cost you to keep him.
I've often compared Adam Bo to Corey Seager, because Corey Seager signed his deal when he was 27. That was in 2022. Obviously, I mean, he got paid a lot of money. It was $325 million over 10 years, so $32.5 million a year. And to your point, Trey Turner, 11 years, $300 million, so just a hair under $30 million a year, 27 and change a year. So I think like that's the range I think we're looking at here between Turner and Seager.
I agree. That's probably right. So the question then becomes, it's not a question of whether the Jays can afford it. It's not a question of whether they can find the money to do it. It's a question of whether they want the guy. And when you look at where the thing is, we've talked so many times, you and I, about roster allocation and where they spend the money. Well, realistically, you're already paying him, 17.5 this year in the final year of that 3-year buyout of the arbitration. So you're talking about an increase of an additional, say, $10 million a year. So that's one less, I'm not trying to pick on anyone, but that's like one less Chad Green, or that's one less Kevin Kiermaier. Like, to be able to keep Bo for his career, I think that's an important thing, too. That builds the legacy. And when you look at the core of this team, this is the core. It's Bo and Vladdy. All these other guys on the team are some great players, but they're additional pieces, and they're going to come and go, and some are older and some are not. So to trade Bassett at the deadline, if we're out of it, sure, he's in the final year of his contract. He's 36. Had a great year. Scherzer, maybe, dare I say, possibly Gausman. But again, I wouldn't be rushing to try and trade those guys for nothing. I wouldn't be just trying to get them off the books. But yeah, if someone wants to pay me a fair price for them, to rebuild, fine. But this is the core. It's Bo and Vladdy, and it needs to get done. And you can't go through the offseason, because this is not going to be a great offseason of free agents like there was the last couple of years. Bo is probably going to be after Kyle Tucker, the second best free agent out there. So if you can take him off the market, that's going to be great for you.
Yeah, Adam, thanks for the call. Appreciate it. Always fun catching up with you. Yeah, I do think, Jesse, when it comes to numbers are always so hard to project, right? I mean, gosh, it was hard doing it with Vladdy for like the better part of a year plus, right? And then eventually he settled on $500 million when we thought, is the number going to start with a 4? Actually, it started with a 5, right? Mm-hmm. So I think valuing Bo is going to be really interesting. I think, and again, today Bo went just in a more micro sense, because we were talking very macro with him just now, but he went 1 for 4. His batting average, 293 after today's game. And I said this yesterday, that you still want to see the power come for Bo a little bit more reliably. But again, like this expected slugging percentage, and I said this yesterday, probably does suggest that eventually, I know this sounds very khaki-ish, but eventually it suggested that unless he had a really crazy fall off, was gonna come. And the other game was a home run and a double. Today, just 1 for 4. But I think it is starting to come that you can feel better about it, and I think that in turn will likely make you feel better about whether or not the Blue Jays do or do not give Bo a gargantuan amount of money.
Gosh, it would have been so nice if the Blue Jays were able to sign him last year. But that was never going to happen.
That was never going to happen.
That was never going to happen. I don't know why you would trade him unless you know that he's not going to sign here.
Right.
Like, unless there's some sort of assurance that he wants to walk to free agency, and the chances that you sign him when the Yankees and Dodgers and Red Sox are in the mix, then you can't just trade a guy for no reason. Like, Bo Bichette, to Adam's point, like, anytime he's played consistent baseball, and I'm ruling out last year because he was never fully healthy, never really ready to go. Look at his numbers. Right from the beginning of his career when he was 21 years of age, 311 batting average, 301, 298, 290, 306. This year, 294 heading into today. Like, that just doesn't happen all that often. Guys like that don't come around.
Yeah.
So there's no reason to just offload your shortstop, who's a massively important part of your offense, when your offense is not that good to begin with, for what? How would you get better by trading him?
Yeah.
If you know for a fact he's not coming back and doesn't want to be here, then you have an obligation, I think, to ensure that he doesn't leave for nothing. Does it free up money off the payroll? Sure. But again, these guys don't grow on trees. You're not going to just go out and find a Bo Bichette. Free agent class isn't great next year. So you got to find a way to either A, lock him up, or B, figure out if he's in fact going to leave. And if he is going to leave, then you have to trade him ultimately.
I think some free agent classes are better than others for certain positions or certain sides of the ball. I think next year's free agent class is a lot stronger for the pitching side of the ball than it is for the position player side. And I think Adam is right. I mean, I haven't looked at it, but now that Vladdy's off the market, there aren't a lot of names outside of Kyle Tucker that really stand out to me that we've been talking about for the last year or so, right? So, because we always kind of do that bit of a look ahead. And I mean, I suppose Kyle Tucker could always sign with the Cubs for some gargantuan amount of money before the end of the season, which, again, I find unlikely. But, yeah, I mean, it's very possible Bo is going to be a top 5 free agent if he does get there. So, and I feel, and we said this about Vladimir Guerrero Jr., that it would have been silly for him not to test it unless he got not overpaid, but unless he got a really massive number, and that is what happened. So, I'm curious if the same thing happens with Bo, but yeah, I mean, my preference is personally is that they re-sign him, because would you rather have Bo or a question mark at shortstop when you know what Bo is like when he's healthy in terms of being a known commodity? I think like you, I generally take Bo.
Yeah, I think it's mildly concerning that you would have $800 million potentially tied up in 2 players.
Sure.
And
at least not in 1 year.
No, it's not in 1 year, and it's it's long. Vladdy's contract is 14 years, so you push that out over the length of the deal, and it's not the end of the world. But I think having $800 million tied up in 2 guys is probably something to think about. But at the end of the day, the best players in baseball cost money. You're not just going to get guys for free. Unless you get guys in the draft and then just have everybody on their lower level deals until they reach free agency themselves and they leave. Like you're seeing the situation that, for example, the Pirates, we were talking about in the pregame show when we had the text in that the Pirates should trade Paul Skeens. Well, if you just stop being able to afford players, you're going to be in a dark, vicious cycle of being a bad baseball team. So credit to ownership that's been able to shell out the money. And we'll see if they're willing to do the same with Bo Bichette.
Yeah, I do think ultimately, and some people probably are like, well, what about Arjun Nimala? Could be the shortstop of the future. I mean, he very well could be. That's very. I hope he is, frankly, because
prospect though.
He's looked great. But to your point, he's a prospect. He's also like 19 or 20 years old. I mean, I'm not sure you can.
Baseball's hard, man.
I'm not sure you can really project out what someone will be in 3 years.
How many guys have you seen come and go that were supposed to be can't miss blue chip Blue Jays prospects, and they just did not work out.
And I'm not saying I think that Nimala is going to be bad. It's just I'm not sure you can make roster decisions today based on what a prospect could look like in 3 years.
He's on the board in pencil, not in pen.
Yeah, exactly. 416-870-0591, 888-660-590, star 590 on your cell. Those are the numbers to call. 590-590, name and location is the People's text line. That's you can reach us via text. Standard data and messaging rates may apply. Let's take a quick break, and on the other side, we'll take a look at the Bet365 standings update, take a look around the rest of Major League Baseball, certainly the American League East, a bunch of finals already, including that Yankees-Mets game we were talking about earlier with one of the callers, and go back to the text line, certainly, 590-590, name and location, a whole bunch of texts here that we haven't gotten to, so we'll do that on the other side. You're listening to Blue Jays Talk. Jays win today, 2-1. I'm Show Ali.
Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Knock all your summer projects out of the park with Home Hardware.
the official home improvement retailer of the Toronto Blue Jays and your DIY partner in making your dream home a reality. From gardens to garages, back decks to front doors, refreshes and renos, we're here to help you cover all your bases and make every summer project a home run. Visit any of our 1,000+ home hardware and building center locations, where we're proud to be locally owned and genuinely Canadian.
Which loony dogger are you? Do you approach Tuesdays with swagger and style? You could be a Rizzy Glizzy. Maybe you're an architect stacking your loony dogs up high. Do you walk into the ballpark with the confidence of an MVD? Then you're the most valuable dogger. This season at Rogers Center, every Tuesday home game is Looney Dogs Night, presented by Schneider's. No matter which loony dogger you are, you'll have the opportunity to purchase $1 hot dogs from various concession stands around the ballpark. Looney Dogs Night, presented by Schneider's. Every Tuesday home game. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
Only Sportsnet and Sportsnet Plus bring you every game of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Things really starting to heat up. The quest continues.
There's some bad blood. There's some animosity. There's some rivalries.
For hockey's ultimate prize.
Great players know that playoffs are a time to shine.
Great play and he scores! Wow! From 16 teams to one champion.
You cannot script this stuff.
Watch or stream every game of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Only on Sportsnet. Here for the Cup.
Buck Martinez here to tell you about the huge Double XL free topping pizza from Pizza Pizza, just $19.99. That's a whopping 18-inch three-topping thing of beauty for only $19.99. So hurry into Pizza Pizza today and bring a big appetite for a hot and fresh Double XL pizza. I'm loving this big voice. I may just call the game this way.
Go to pizzapizza.ca. Of all the things that Timber Mart can lend a hand to build, community ranks among the most important. And with the Timber Mart Local Leaders Initiative, we strive to recognize those dedicated to making their hometowns a better place to live, work, and play. From now to June 25th, you can vote to select our grand prize winner. They'll receive a $10,000 grant to support their outstanding initiative as Timber Mart's Local Leader of the Year. To vote, visit local-leaders.com. Timber Mart, Canada's building center.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Swinging a high fly ball, deep left field. At the wall, it's gone!
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
I mean, I think he can pitch. You know, it's one mistake, I think, change up to Torkelson. I think he can pitch. You know, I think it's a unique spot that we're in right now, where you have two guys that can offer length, a righty and a lefty, and they both kind of understand the assignment on any given fifth day. So, like I said before the game, he can throw 80, 85 pitches, and I think that he's, you know, savvy and pro enough. He understands, he has a good game plan, and he's executed pretty well since he's been here. So, probably not ideal for him. You know, starting pitchers, they want to keep going, but that was kind of how we mapped it out today.
That is John Schneider speaking about Eric Lauer, who had somewhat of a curtailed outing tonight. Not the longest outing you'll ever see him throw. 3 innings. He allowed 3 hits, 1 run, which was earned. It was the shot to Torkelson. No walks, though. 5 strikeouts. He faced 12 batters. Let's see. He threw 40 pitches, 31 of which were strikes. Welcome back to Jays Talk, of course. Joe Alley, Jesse Rubinoff with you. We'll go and check out the Bet365 standings update in a sec. But just on Eric Lauer, because there wasn't a lot to talk about with him, if only because it was a relatively short outing. I admit I probably, Jesse, would have given Lauer 1 more inning. And you know, they're clearly, and this is a conversation we've had a million times, this is a team that adheres very strictly to process and pre-planning. So I would like to see them be a little looser because, you know, the bottom middle of the order coming up, instead of the top of the order, Lauer had. So he hangs the changeup to Torkelson, which you heard Schneider talk about. He annihilates that ball. He misses his spot to Colt Keith a few pitches later. You could see it. Tyler Heineman set up well away from where that ball came in. But then he comes out firing. He punches out the top of the order in order at the top of the 3rd inning. I would have given him another inning probably. But still, I mean, generally speaking, even if you do allow for the Flames to be more flexible, this game wouldn't, and they won this game, but I don't think they would have been winning or losing this game whether or not Eric Lauer threw in one more inning or not, because ultimately it was on the bats, and the bats did come through, as we've talked about. But I do understand, and Schneider kind of alluded to it there, having a lefty and a righty, both of whom can make starts, and he's referring to, I would imagine, Yariel Rodriguez, who came in afterwards. I get the idea that the Tigers are very platoon heavy, right? So if you go from a lefty to a righty, you're essentially forcing the Tigers to make decisions with how they manage a starting lineup versus how they deploy their bench bats. But at the same time, there should be probably a little bit more allowance for feel there, I suppose, based on how a starting pitcher is going.
Yeah, I would think it's probably not the most sustainable strategy. Like, if you want to do it once against the Tigers because you force them into making those kinds of decisions, then that could work. But over the course of 162, you're trying to figure out what's doing with your fifth spot in the rotation.
Right.
I don't think you want to have a guy that goes 3 innings every single time, because then you run into a situation where you're overworking, overtaxing the bullpen. Bullpen was great today, don't get me wrong, but it's a difficult spot to be putting them in every fifth day, and who knows with the way the some of the other pitchers in the rotation are going for the Jays, how much work the bullpen's going to have when it does get to that fifth spot in the rotation. So, hopefully over the course of the next couple starts, if it is Lauer who's going to get some run here, he can go a little bit deeper into the game, and he showed you that.
Yeah.
He looked good, man.
Don't disagree.
I think if you can let this run, it's sort of like the situation with Barger and Clement and Nathan Lucas. You take advantage of guys when they're humming along, and it looks like Lauer's in a pretty good spot right now, and I think you take advantage of that for as long as you possibly can.
I do think, and again, I think this is something that Schneider kind of got to there very briefly, but I think his next start, the Padres are coming to town after this. It's an off day on Monday, 3 games against the Padres. That wraps up the longest homestand of the year. And then they go on a mini road trip, 2 series, one in Tampa Bay, I guess this one technically at Steinbrenner Field, and then one in Texas to play the Rangers for the first time this season. And I believe the Lauer start would line up for him to play the Rays at Steinbrenner. And if that is the case, I mean, I bet, like with a team like the Rays, I bet you do actually end up seeing Lauer go a little longer. It won't be 40 pitches. It probably will end up being something closer to like 85, 90 pitches, I would imagine, which, again, I mean, he was pretty efficient today, all things considered, but I got to think that even, 90 pitches from 85 to 90 pitches from Lauer probably get to into the 5th inning. I would imagine if things go really well into the 6th inning, if he's hyper efficient. But if you're getting like, and I've made this comment a million times, if you're talking about your 5th starter, if you're getting, like 3 to 4 earned runs in 5 innings or more out of your 5th starter, I think you generally would take that.
Oh, for sure, and especially if it's the way that today went for Lauer. If you can hold the opposition to 1, 2, even 3 runs out of your 5th spot, I mean, I think you're laughing. And Eric Lauer can do it. Like, he has proven that he's been able to do it over the course of his career. He's obviously started a ton of games in the major leagues, and I think you want to build him up to get to that point again. And if he starts to falter, I think you develop and find out what his ceiling ultimately is. But I think you can push it a little bit longer than the Blue Jays did today. But again, it was more of a matchup-focused idea with Lauer and the Tigers today. So no harm, no foul. They ended up winning the game, and we'll see how they decide to operate with it moving forward.
Time now for the Bet365 standings update. Download the Bet365 app for today's baseball odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. So, if we look at some of the scores from around Major League Baseball, I believe actually the only other game in the American League East that is done is that Yankees game. So the Mets again beating the Yankees 3-2. So the Yankees fall to 26-19. The Blue Jays, of course, with the win, they improved to 22-23. The Red Sox play in about 45 minutes from right now. They're at Fenway. They'll take on the Braves. They have not started their game yet. Top of the 9th inning, the Rays are leading the Marlins 4-0. So, again, we'll have to see if the Marlins can make a comeback here, I suppose, in the bottom of the 9th down in Miami. But right now, the Rays are leading 4-0. And the Baltimore Orioles, top of the 9th inning, the day they fire Brandon Hyde, are trailing 7-2.
They are so bad.
That's tough.
Can't believe that.
That's real tough. It's funny because, May 17th, you've gotten 3 managerial changes in the first month and a bit of the season, a little over a month and a bit, and that doesn't happen super often, but it's just, you could probably have seen that coming, kind of, I guess, for the Pirates and Rockies. Not that the managers were necessarily the problems there, but gosh, I can't imagine just 2 years after the Orioles won over 100 games and Brandon Hyde was the manager of the year, he's out.
I'm pretty surprised that they were willing to pull the plug on Brandon Hyde so quickly. I know that they're underperforming,
tough,
obviously, but the rotation was obviously a weakness given injuries, underperformance heading into the offseason, and they just didn't do anything to address it. And they came into this season hoping and praying that their offense could carry the mail, and they just have not been able to do that. And I'm not sure how through 40 games of a season that's the manager's fault. Like, these guys are professionals. They've done it before. They've been in the majors for a while. I mean, there's only so many moves that you can make, but to fire your manager before you work to address your pitching deficiencies is kind of an odd choice for me for the Baltimore Orioles. But ultimately, Brandon Hyde ends up being the fall guy in Baltimore. Like, I understand that they had the pitching concerns. Still, 15-28 for a team that has been a fixture over the last couple of seasons, and you would think are well within their window of championship potential, and they are in dead last place in the American League East, and it doesn't look like it's getting any better anytime soon.
The final standings updates as well, maybe final is a strong word because some of these games aren't over yet, and the Boston Red Sox have not started. But at least as of right now, the Yankees are 26-19, the Blue Jays are 22-23. The Red Sox prior to first pitch are 22-24. The Rays, again, they are going. This game now going to the bottom of the ninth inning with them holding a 4-0 lead. So right now they are 20-24. They could be 21-24, and the Baltimore Orioles are 15-28. And again, unless this thing really turns, they'll be 15-29. But that does it for the Bet365 standings update. I want to go back to the pitching actually, because there's a lot of text here on the text line about the bullpen. Right? There's one here about, let's see, this one's from Claudio in King City. Great win today. We can't keep abusing our pen like this. Need a long outing tomorrow from our starter. So with the day off Monday, a chance to reset the pen. Because again, we saw Jeff Hoffman today. We saw Jimmy Garcia today.
Totally.
We saw a lot of we saw Brendan Little today. Yariel Rodriguez. Probably that was always planned in the sense of this piggyback-ish start with Lauer and Wyrod, so I kind of understand that. But you did still see like basically all of the highest leverage relievers outside of and Chad Green pitched today too, outside of Mason Fluharty, and Fluharty pitched yesterday, right? So you have seen the pen get used a lot. I do think the off day on Monday does help. Yariel Rodriguez, though, I do want to say, I mean, he's been sneaky really good lately. I mean, he had a shaky start to the year. I mean, I think in his first outing of the season, Jesse, I think he gave up 3 earned runs, but I mean, I have no complaints about how he's pitching. I mean, in the month of May, so this includes today, okay? He has made 8 appearances. He has gone 10 1/3 over those 8 appearances. He has allowed 5 total hits, 1 run, which was earned, 2 walks, 12 strikeouts. In the month of May, he has an ERA of 0.87. And if you look at his outings, there's a lot of like 1 innings, 1 1/3, 2 innings of work. So he's being asked to hold runners over multiple innings, and he's still getting it done. So, again, a very positive sign for Wyrod, and certainly his usage, especially if he's going to be used in this piggyback role, so to speak, with Lauer, at least for the foreseeable future. Definitely a positive start for Wyrod.
Well, I think what we can say at this point is that he certainly looks and feels more comfortable in this role, because the starting wasn't getting it done a year ago. It was maybe a role that didn't fit him in the major leagues, but it looks like right now that's exactly the right spot for him. And rather than giving up on a guy, you put him in a different position, and now he looks like he's thriving. So he deserves a lot of credit. I think the Blue Jays deserve a lot of credit for letting him flourish in this role. And it is a good fallback in the sense that if things don't go well for your 5th starter, you have him to rely on. He can come in and give you some meaningful innings because he obviously has started in the past. But it's a huge plus for the Toronto Blue Jays to have this guy going, because when he was brought over, there was a lot expected of him. They wanted him to eat innings. They thought he was going to be pretty good. He got a pretty healthy contract dollar amount, and it didn't work so well a year ago. But it certainly looks like this year has gotten off on a better foot for Yariel Rodriguez, and that's certainly helpful for the Blue Jays bullpen.
Luke in Georgetown on the text line saying the bullpen continues to be good. I don't think they were predicted to be this good at the start of the season. With people set to come back, can they be top 5 to 7 in baseball? I'll admit, Luke, I without looking at every single bullpen across the league, I would be hard-pressed to say yes or no for sure. But I will say they have been a lot more consistent as of late. And again, to Claudio's point, you can't keep running them out there. And I think a big part of what would help them, frankly, would simply just be scoring more runs so you don't have to throw your highest leverage relievers out there on a daily basis. But, I mean, if you're looking at – I've said this multiple times. I'm curious what you think, actually, Jesse, because if you're looking at Jeff Hoffman – I'm going from the back end, right? So Jeff Hoffman, Jimmy Garcia, Brendan Little, Mason Fluharty. I'll include Chad Green for now. I think he's been a little shakier. I'm not sure he's quite – in the circle of trust right this second, but he's been all right, all things considered. But I'll include him for now. So you got those, what is that, 5 guys, including...
I love the circle of trust conversation.
Yeah, the circle
We're back
of trust.
to my first of the year. I love it.
It's true. I think this is we haven't had the circle of trust conversation, you and I. So you got those 5 guys, and then you could potentially add Eric Swanson and Nick Sandlin. Ryan Burr will come back as well, but we'll see what Ryan Burr is. Even last year, I think he was largely a long guy, but still, I mean, you have him too. But I'm going to only count Swanson and Sandlin. That's 7 pretty good pitchers, and that's without counting Yariel Rodriguez. And I'm sure you could probably count him too if you really wanted to, right? So if you have those 7 guys to largely put out fires when you need them to, that sounds pretty good, I would say. Even to the point where, and I think it was Adam who mentioned this, like if you're not going to have Chad Green next year, and he's a free agent next year, so I got to think he probably won't be back unless barring some massive turnaround. I mean, even if you go forward with 6 of those guys, I still think you're feeling pretty confident, all things considered.
Yeah, I think there's no doubt you need to have at least, the Blue Jays had essentially nobody in the circle of trust a year ago at certain points.
The circle of trust was non-existent.
No, I mean, multiple things went wrong for the Blue Jays last year, there's no doubt, but having among the worst bullpens in all of baseball doesn't give you much of a fighting chance, especially when your starters are so overworked and overtaxed because the offense struggled to the extent that they did. So nothing really worked, but the bullpen needed to be addressed. And I think the front office deserves some credit for going out and bringing in some other guys that can be thrust into the circle of trust. And I will say, statistically, the Blue Jays have, as of now, the 15th best ERA in terms of bullpen ERA, which still obviously middle of the pack. Whip's a little bit better, a little bit higher. But as of this moment, the bullpen has been more of a strength for the Blue Jays than the starting pitching has been. And nobody, I don't think, saw that coming heading into the season. I think the starters for the last number of years have been considered the major strength of this team. And now you're looking at the bullpen and saying, if that's going to be a strength, then we might be able to do some actual damage.
See a text there on the text line from, where is it? Jen from Toronto, 590-590. Jen says, hey, just some thoughts on Springer's cooling off. He had a great start, but seems to be struggling. Also wish team left Barger in against the lefty. Yeah, with the Barger thing, we didn't talk about it too much because it didn't end up being as consequential as it otherwise would have been had they lost this game. But I will say simply, if you want to, and again, I'm not here to crap on Miles Straw by any means. I do think, by and large, he's been pretty good, all things considered, for what he's given you in a very small sample size. But I don't think you ever really want Miles Straw being your pinch hitter. You know what I mean? Like, you want the guy with power, or the guy who's been seeing the ball pretty well. And Miles Straw has been seeing the ball well, all things considered. But at the same time, if you believe Barger can play more, then at some point you got to leave him in there, even if the matchup is not entirely favorable because of a lefty-on-lefty matchup or something. But again, it factored less because they won this game. But Springer cooling off, I do wonder, and there's another text here on the text line just saying, hey, how about these new lineup projections? Bo, Vlad, Varsho, Kirk, Santander, Barger, top 6. And he says Jesse is also great. So there you go. A nice word of confidence for you. But so this person does not have George Springer in the top 6. I do think if he got off to such a hot start that it's hard to have the conversation about him not being near the top of the order. But I wonder how much longer, if he continues to cool off, that this conversation will not have this conversation, I suppose.
I'm pretty concerned about George Springer. I'm not going to...
How, when you say pretty concerned, like on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being 5 alarm bell fire and 1 being not concerned at all?
I think if last year didn't happen, I wouldn't be that concerned. But last year happened, so that I'm at probably a 6.
Okay,
and the reason I say that, and this is notwithstanding the fact that there are some underlying numbers with George Springer that are fantastic. Just a top-tier barrel rate, top-tier walk rate. The plate discipline has been there. Those have been the major things that have been the difference for George Springer this season. However, the older you get, baseball is a very, very difficult sport, and I think whether it's getting fatigued over the course of 162 or just starting to lose it when you get over 30 and he's 35, I think there's a natural slowdown that you have to account for. And to expect George Springer to stay at the level that he was, I think was obviously pretty unrealistic. It's just a matter of how cold does he go when he gets cold? Does he turn into George Springer from a year ago? And it's great that he started out hot, but is he going to get to that level again? Or is it going to be somewhere in between? I think the older you get and the more you're relying on a guy like Springer, you could potentially run into some difficulty. Again, the underlying stuff continues to be really good with him, but I think at 35, when things start to go south, there's always the danger that it starts to go really south. And you saw that last year, and that's why it's always sort of lurking in the back of my mind.
As someone, as two people actually that are older than 35, that does that bode well for us or what?
Dude, I can't even walk to the buffet here without hurting something. Like, I gotta imagine it's pretty difficult for Springer at times.
I do. We were here at the Rogers Center today, so you didn't do it today, but I have seen you stretch in the middle of games.
Of course,
you gotta do it.
You have to. I'm a golfer, man. Gotta get it done.
That does it for us here on Jays Talk. Jesse, as always, man, this is a lot of fun.
You're the best, buddy. Pleasure to be here with you today.
That is the great Jesse Rubinoff. I'm Sho Ali. Blue Jays baseball brought to you by the local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers in Tom Young's hometown of Burlington and Oakville as well. Crown is proud to be Canadian-owned and operated since 1986. Protect your vehicle from rust today at your local Crown Rust Control Center or visit crown.com. Crown, Canada's #1 rust protection. For Schulman, Chris LaRue, Tom Young, Christian Chinidi, Nick Blackmore, I'm Sho. That does it for us today. We'll be back tomorrow. Daniele Franceschi will be along.
Major League Play-by-Play is now on SiriusXM Radio and online with the SiriusXM app.
Why do I love calling this game?
Calling this game?
Calling this game?
Calling this game?
Why do I love calling this game? It's because I get a chance to bring some joy into people's lives.
Anything can happen on a baseball field.
We've got a new game! It's perfectly unscripted theater.
Everybody on their feet! Because you never know what you're going to see on a given day.
Vladimir Guerrero Jr. just walked it off.
There's just something about baseball on the radio.
Something about the way wood hits leather.
A swing and a drive to deep left center.
The way leather hits dirt.
And he made the play.
The way a deep fly ball sounds like it's about to change history.
High fly ball to center field. It's hit pretty well toward the wall.
Until the cleats hit the grass, hit the crushed brick, and then nothing but sky and a silent crowd.
That ball's high.
Until leather hits leather and 40,000 fans lose their collective minds.
In a perfect symphony of chaos.
He jumped up on top of the wall, balanced himself, and caught it.
The way nothing triumphs a perfectly honest call.
The way the right voice can make a moment live forever.
Touch 'em all, Joe. You'll never hit a bigger home run in your life.
Outsiders may think this is just two teams.
A ball, a bat, and a microphone, but no.
For over 100 years, this has been the soundtrack of the American pastime.
That's it! It's a World Series win for LA!
The soundtrack of summer. This is Major League Baseball on the radio.
Right now on SiriusXM.
All rise.
Coming in 5.
Get ready to play. 4.
Get up! Get up!
3.
Can you believe it? Put your seatbelt on.
Wow.
Talk about the game and all the stories on MLB Network Radio. SiriusXM Channel 89 and online with the SiriusXM app.
To throw over there. The good news for them is the 3 guys up at the top of the lineup are hot right now. Duran, Devers, and Bregman. I mean, Bregman's been playing well all year, but Duran's playing with his hair on fire again, and Devers is mashing the ball right now. And, Abreu's playing well. So the lineup is pretty good, and then they mix and match with other guys. But, first base is a spot now that they clearly need to figure out.
If you're looking for more interviews or news from around Major League Baseball, tune into MLB Network Radio on SiriusXM Channel 89.
MLB Network Radio is your home for 24/7 baseball talk, featuring on-site coverage of every major event from spring training through the World Series and expert analysis from former general managers and players. SiriusXM Channel 89.
I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your Sirius XM MLB schedule for Saturday, May the 17th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In Major League Baseball, 1:05 p.m. New York Yankees take on the New York Mets. Yankees on Sirius 208, XM 175 and Internet 859. Mets on Internet 858. National feed on Sirius XM and Internet channels 89. 2:20 p.m. Chicago Cubs take on the Chicago White Sox. Cubs on Sirius 209, XM 176 and Internet 845. White Sox on Internet 846. 3:07 p.m. Toronto Blue Jays taking the Detroit Tigers. Jays on Sirius 210, XM 177 and Internet 868. Tigers on Internet 850. 4:05 p.m. Baltimore Orioles face the Washington Nationals. Orioles on Sirius 137, XM 179 and Internet 843. Nationals on Internet 869. 4:10 p.m. Miami Marlins face the Tampa Bay Rays. Marlins on Sirius 211, XM 178 and Internet 855. Rays on Internet 866. 6:05 p.m. Philadelphia Phillies take on the Pittsburgh Pirates. Phillies on Sirius 138, XM 180 and Internet 860. Pirates on Internet 861. 6:40 p.m. Cincinnati Reds taking the Cleveland Guardians. Reds on Sirius 139, XM 181 and Internet 847. Guardians on Internet 848. 7:05 p.m. Texas Rangers face the Houston Astros. Rangers on Sirius 119, XM 183 and Internet 867. Astros on Internet 851. Spanish feed on Internet 870. 7:10 p.m. Kansas City Royals taking the St. Louis Cardinals. Royals on Sirius 160, XM 184 and Internet 852. Cardinals on Internet 865. 7:15 p.m. Boston Red Sox taking the Atlanta Braves. Red Sox on Sirius 161, XM 185 and Internet 844. Braves on Internet 842. 7:15 p.m. Milwaukee Brewers take on the Minnesota Twins. Brewers on Sirius 106, XM 182 and Internet 856. Twins on Internet 857. 8:10 p.m. Arizona Diamondbacks take on the Colorado Rockies. Diamondbacks on Sirius 132, XM 186 and Internet 840. Rockies on Internet 849. 8:40 p.m. San Diego